All right, here's it's going. How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of No Excuses with your favorite show host, Still.
Venerian?
And Wallisell, and we're all here together this time because the Cowboys have finally gotten bored and gone home.
For now.
They'll be back.
For now. They'll be back. Only in a few weeks, they'll be back.
Is it just me or did Fern's volume go up?
It always does. It always does that when he finally starts talking. It'll fix itself.
Yeah, Discord does things.
I'm going to turn them down just a skosh because my earballs. There we go. Yes, we're all here today together. And if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com. You can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw or join us in the Discord server, the very best place to communicate with the show hosts and other show listeners. And you can get there by clicking on the link provided in the show description underneath the archive version of the show on YouTube.
Yes, indeed. Right. So we haven't had a Fern in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He's got 3 weeks worth of news to talk to us about, right?
Hopefully.
Oh, kind of. Because unfortunately, a good chunk of that, like I had some time off and I spent a lot of that time just doing stuff around the house that I've been putting off for a long time. But then the last week was Drunk Cowboy Palooza. It's the big one.
Like,
thankfully, it's the rodeo. Yeah. Thankfully, that's over now.
I have 2 times of the year when things get bad for my job, and it's whenever the government wants money time, which is August and October. But you have you seem to have like 5 drunk cowboy times per year, at least 5 or 6.
3 majors and maybe 6 minor ones, plus whenever the government decides to hand out free money. That also causes issues. Yes.
It means they're buying votes. Yep.
So when suddenly everyone's flush with cash and they've got to go and burn it. So that's when things get busy. Yes, at the pub, at the pokies. So it comes in waves. Or mounds, take your pick. So the biggest things of Vidya today I've been doing, Power World, of course. I mean, still chipping away at that. I've slowed down a bit on it now because everyone on the server has also slowed down because you know how it goes with a new game like that. Everyone just dives on it and just burns themselves out completely. So you got to kind of wait for everyone to come back after that.
It's not really the discourse on Power World I've been seeing. The discourse on Power World that I've been seeing is about mods.
Oh, yeah. I have not been looking at that side of things, but I don't doubt that they exist.
They've come through my feed. People discussing their particular perverse affections for various pals.
Yeah.
I was blissfully unaware of any dump truck or other asset mods for fake Pokemon that were currently in the popular zeitgeist until 30 seconds ago, Vol. Why would you do this?
Because you just got to spread the pain.
Then you have to suffer too, and there's a chest here, so come to my location.
Hang on, I'm coming.
Pleasure. So yeah, still chipping away on that. As far as the news on Power World I've been seeing is a lot of people have been saying, okay, well, where's the media? Why is the games media not talking about this game? Because they are completely silent.
Well, it's not, they can't use it to cry about how it's, like, too hard to play. Because
it's not hard.
Yeah. And so they can't use that for that little running narrative. And it's an indie game. So these people have spent all their money, on lawsuits or on the game, or making fun of Craftopia, hopefully, because their previous project was very bad.
It's a lot different now, actually, if you go back and look at Craftopia.
We played that when it was still relatively new.
When it was an asset flip, more than a thing.
That was very bad.
It was very bad, but it's not an asset flip anymore. So they've changed a lot, and I think they changed a lot of it in preparation for building Power World. So,
but yeah, they're not going to pay any influencers or any any what you call it.
But why would they? Because when they first came out in early access, all the influencers and the media decried them as rip-offs.
Yeah, and they're not, and they don't want to, and also the journos don't want to lose their good standing with Nintendo, who I'm sure send them care packages of various flavors depending on the outlet.
Of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, sometimes it's even more crass than that. It's just like they literally wine and dine them.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
That's no secret.
Yeah, and we
You
figure,
know, I have an extremely long ethics policy that I'm required to read and reread every year, which details exactly what you can and cannot accept. And I think that the limit on what you can accept at my company is, I think, €5 worth of like stationery or something.
So someone can give you a pen.
Yeah, that's the largest bribe you're allowed to receive without it being a transgression of ethics.
Yeah.
we at Christmas time, we deliberately to all our regular customers, if we're going to give gifts, the way we get around all these corporate policies is we go in person and deliver them as personal gifts to all the regulars in the like within an hour drive of me area. I've started doing that for them because you can't send people at a company in the mail all kinds of stuff. It's just on the company's forbidden lists of stuff you're not allowed to accept. So if you want to give them like a box of cookies or something, you need to get your butt out there and drive there physically and give it to them as a person instead, totally unrelated to their job, where their bookkeepers can't see it. It's so stupid.
Yep,
but
Video games journalism, on the other hand, is not a real profession, so they don't have ethics.
no,
no.
well, they have a
do
piece
not
of
have
paper that says they do. It's just they don't follow it.
It's in crayon and spelled incorrectly. It's just the word ethics.
It's ethics. The
Ethics.
EFFIX.
Yeah.
Yes. In crayon, and they ate that crayon. So yeah.
Yeah. Does not surprise me.
So yeah,
the
when
media is silent about it.
yeah, when Pal World first came out in early access, you had the big decries of them being rip-offs and the hit pieces, and of course the cheering when Nintendo started suing them.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. Really, right? They're more or less in Nintendo's pocket, and like, what are they going to do? Complain that Power World is all the things that Nintendo never bothered to make Pokemon? There's to
Yeah.
say, accessible on PC, actually
Fun.
adventurous in terms of development, have interesting things to do instead of retreading the same thing. Like,
Budget.
It's basically the whole game is an indictment against Nintendo, the company, and they can't afford to be giving that coverage.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
you'll notice they were even
especially now that
hesitant.
Nintendo
Like,
has been slapped down in court.
yeah, you'll notice they were even hesitant back when like Time Stranger was coming out, to really do any Pokemon comparisons in their reviews. Like the independent creators would, they would make the Pokemon comparisons and be like, okay, this is the monster collecting Digimon game, and it just really highlights what all is wrong with Pokemon right now. But
Yeah.
none of the official outlets would dare touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Mm-hmm. Now there's other Pokemon clone games out there at the moment. Like there's another one that just came out. I think it's called Animo. I haven't looked at it too deeply, but it does have very fluffy creatures.
Fluffiness is, of course, the key currency.
Yes. Honestly, from everything I've seen about Animo so far, it looks incredibly twee.
I am reminded.
Well, I mean, people like twee, though. That's why Pokemon is so popular.
Yeah, that's right.
I am reminded in Starbound of the Fluffalo creature.
Do not knock the Fluffalos.
I had a Fluffalo farm.
You did. They're so useful. They're so fluffy.
I had a Factorio moment where I made a fully automated Fluffalo farm.
You did. Starbound had so many issues with it, but I still love that game. And it's where Chucklefish got their start, and they ended up going on to do things like publishing Stardew Valley. I think that was they did that one. They did a whole bunch of others as well. I think that was so anyway. So yeah, Power World, it's just fun. That's all you can really say about it. They've just thrown in ideas at the wall, seen what stick, and just run with whatever's there. And yeah, it works. Just putting stuff into a game for the sake of it to be fun works. and it's something honestly that the game industry as a whole has kind of forgotten.
You were not here last week when I was talking about Ultra Kill.
Ultra Kill is another game where things are just fun for the sake of fun.
Yeah, well, it's made by functionally one guy, and I think he's got what amounts to a very small team, but he's the one that does it most of the work.
His key team, I think, consists largely of baggies of cocaine.
Yeah. Well, he added LSD in the latest layer.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Also crossed over with Palworld.
yes. It's a similar philosophy in that game. There's a lot of stuff in Ultra Kill you could label as outright bad or confusing game design, and it just doesn't matter because it's there to facilitate something new, novel, and fun.
Well, I mean, when the thing you've got to remember though is when a lot of sort of like people talk about philosophy of game design, that talking about it from the perspective of like the absurdly risk averse investment environment that AAA gaming occupies.
Either that or the outhouse scene.
Yeah, it's just
Well, the thing is that the art house scene has the opposite problem. The art house scene takes bad design and, regardless of how it is employed, claims that you aren't allowed to complain because it's art.
That's how you end up with things like mixtape.
yeah. But like you get
Well, that's more of a nepo baby problem, I think.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was very much a Nepo Baby problem, yeah.
just the yeah.
Yeah.
Just the successor to your Gone Homes and your Dear Esther's is what mixtape is.
Yeah. I'd say it's
I would
even
say
worse.
that Dear Esther has significantly more dignity.
Yes. Because
I
they
mean-
were at least trying something new at the time.
I suppose you could at least say that Dear Esther has some kind of subtle mystery you're supposed to figure out as you go through the house.
I would say, I would put it like this: Dear Esther was an exercise in somebody huffing their own farts, whereas Mixtape is a exercise in somebody trying to force you to huff their farts.
Yes.
Yeah. But
And I know that there are some people who are into that, but that's not what I'm talking about here.
yeah.
If you're into that, you go sit in the corner with the feet people. Go on.
Yeah, that's where you belong. But like it's in Ultra Kill, for instance, like the latest layer was fraud, with all kinds of spatial contractions and warping, and rooms looping on themselves, and room size changing and turning into mishmashes of other rooms from the other layers. All of which leads to you getting lost all the flipping time. There's an entire level that's all about flipping yourself upside down and right round again, and following carpets that run along the walls and the ceiling, and your orientation changing. Like, all of this would be like, okay, somebody's going to get lost, but the answer is I don't care, because that's fun. Like, no safe game design company would make the fraud layer, because they'd be like, okay, players would get confused. But Hikita was just like, nah, this is cool. People are gonna play this and be like, oh, this is amazing.
How many people go through that level singing the Adventure Line song from the Stanley Parable?
It's been a long time since I played that game.
I remember the adventure line, but I don't remember a song.
There's a song that goes with the Adventure Line. I've never actually gone back to play the Redux version. Apparently, there's just a lot more content in that too. Maybe I'll grab it when it's on sale.
I think I watched that get played. I played the original, but I think I watched the. Or did I play it myself? I can't remember. I'd have to check which version I've got.
Honestly, Stanley Parable it is a walking simulator as well, but it's one it's just fun. They went out to tell a really dumb, weird story.
Well, they
I still always feel vaguely uncomfortable after playing it. I'm not really sure why.
I think that's kind of the point. Yeah. But again, it's a very simple game, but it's fun. They put fun into it. Also, a lot of really terrible jokes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how much of it was just trying to be tongue in cheek and how much of it was actually commentary. Maybe there's no difference.
I don't think there's a whole lot of difference in that game, no. There's a lot of stuff in there that exists just to exist. So anyway, so yes, Power World. It's still fun. Especially when you get right down to the bottom of the tech tree and you're flying around in power armor with a swarm of personal drones. At some point, there is still a monster capturing game in there. I don't know where it goes at that point, but it's there.
Gonna equip the Ultra Kill skin and run around going swiggity swooty.
Well, yeah, you can actually equip the Ultra Kill skin and run around with a giant revolver.
There's a big old door in Ultra Kill in Layer 8 that you can find if you follow some notes in the second level. And it just leads to a door with a big old construction sign in front of it and a big old plushy Hakita face that says under construction for the secret
Oh, no.
level for Layer 8. So I imagine that's if it's a mutual crossover, that's where the Power World stuff is going.
Yeah, quite probably. So you get to run around and shoot lamb balls or something. So yeah, the other game of note I played has been Grim Dawn. Not as much as I would have liked. I'm still at the end of chapter 1 with this character because I kind of sat there and spent too long trying to figure out what kind of character I actually want to build. I settled on dual gun Vindicator, so lightning everywhere.
It's Yeah, I mentioned to you when I was poking at it last week. So I can piggyback off your week with Grim Dawn, I guess.
Yeah, so it's been a while since I've actually played the game. They've made a lot of changes in the lead up to the new expansion, which took them freaking ever to put out.
Yeah. This is supposed to be their last big hurrah for OG Grim Dawn.
Yeah, after this it might be Grim Dawn 2.
That's what all the rumors are saying. I don't know if those rumors are backed up by anything because I don't follow the discourse on Grim Dawn on the reg, so I don't know if this is just something people are saying or if it's a
The barrier
thing.
between rumor and wishful thinking seems to be extremely permeable.
Yes. Because as
Yeah.
far as I know, Crate hasn't made any sort of announcement or commentary about a sequel yet. I think everything has been about getting the expansion out.
Yeah, and this thing is flipping huge.
It is a stonking big one, and there's a lot of stuff in here as well that you don't actually need the expansion for as well.
Yeah,
A lot of the system overhauls, for
but
example.
that said, Crate has been really good about supporting their game, and it is not a very expensive DLC, especially for how much content you get.
Yeah. Oop. I almost got caught. No, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. Okay, I'm good. I didn't die.
Are you on hardcore?
I'm veteran on this character, but
Okay, just
yeah,
veteran.
everything's just veteran because it's a new character.
Yeah, I like
But
that.
veteran doesn't pull its punches as much as it used to.
Yeah, veteran.
It's harder.
It's also a matter of your gear. Just depends on what you get.
Well,
by the time
my gear is also kind of poopy.
Yeah, like before level 50, like your gear is such a huge impact on what you can and can't do.
Yeah. If you're just not getting the drops, then you're just not doing certain things.
Yeah. So I had one false start, a brief foray into the corridor leading up to the new expansion area, and then decided just to pull out a character that I had gotten started at the end of Act 1 that didn't have a second class and was just an Oathkeeper right now. And
Okay.
well, they were at Homestead, so they were in Act 3. And just start leveling that instead. Because I did not like Animal Barbarian very much. Because it just
went Dogbarian?
Yeah, Barbarian.
Yeah.
They call it a werewolf, but Barbarian sounds more fun.
Barbarian does sound better.
And the thing looks like a bear.
I don't see why you think it looks like a bear. Like, you keep saying that over and over, but it bears no resemblance to a bear, no pun intended, whatsoever.
Maybe I just got bears on the brain. Because
I think you've just got bears on the brain.
'cause,
You're overly influenced in your perceptions by whatever you happen to be thinking about at the time.
But yeah, the bear did not add very much to gameplay, and I just auto attack melee classes in ARPGs are not. They lose their luster
Not fun.
pretty quick after a while.
Yeah. I haven't played around with Barbarian too much at the moment because like it fills a lot of niches that kind of are lacking, especially in the chaos damage side of things
Yeah, and the bleed side of things, because before you
and the
had like
bleeds,
you had shaman spells that did bleed.
and I think a few soldier skills, and that was about it.
Wasn't there like an entire line of soldier skills that were devoted to bleeds? I'm
Yeah,
fairly sure there was.
Yeah, I think
there's
one of their auto attack replacers is heavy on bleed.
there's a skill they have that has bleed on it. But nobody took it because it was bad.
Yeah, it's not great. Oh, hang on, that's the last point of devotion. I can finish a constellation. Boop, and I can go on a Wind Devil.
So instead, I finally got around to making a Eye of Reckoning warlord, which is Oathkeeper soldier with lots of
Nice.
mobility, lots of whirlwinds, and various flavors of buff and self buff and shouts.
Yep.
They buffed Warcry's range so much it's hilarious.
Warcry was really not great before.
I mean, you would take it on soldier no matter what you did on soldier because it was good, but its range was so pitiful, and it never felt great to use. But they just made it flipping huge now.
Yeah, because you got a friend. Okay, they're getting shouted at.
And they added items that just give it a flat damage modifier, so you just have a like screen size nuke you can push every 5 seconds that
Yep.
just chunks nublets. Also makes it so you don't have to take, I guess, a pain in the butt. The Captain America throw that just
I actually honestly kind of like the Captain America throw just because of how bouncy it can get.
I like the idea of it. It's just the ability does no damage.
Yeah, you really have to build around it if you wanted to do damage. I
Well-
did have a character that was built with Acid Shield in mind, actually, and that ends up being fun.
Yeah. Well, if you're going the acid route, Eye of Reckoning's still better by like 3 times the damage and damage reduction. Like,
Oh yeah, it's still better.
because you can also convert that to acid damage. Well,
It's kind of weird having a paladin that converts to acid, but yeah, all right.
In fact,
Who cares? Let's do it.
their little guardian spirits you get near the end of the tree can also change to acid damage.
Yes, they can. You can just do acid.
My
Yeah.
class fantasy.
I know, right?
Yeah, Grim Dawn's real good about that, making sure that you can't bork yourself by giving those transmuters. There seems to be more of them than I remember last time on
I
abilities.
think they added a few a little while back. Yeah,
just to cover more bases, because they're big on no matter what you pick, you can do all the content in the game. But to facilitate this, you need to be able to change the element of some abilities on a lot of classes to have coverage where they normally don't exist.
because yeah, otherwise things just don't synergize, like at all.
Yeah, and when in doubt, you can fall back on chaos damage. It will work, but it's never going to be as efficient as a natural damage type because so much crap resists chaos.
Yeah, well, a lot of your enemies are out there either doing Aether or Chaos damage themselves.
Well, you were saying the same thing about bleed as well, so
Yeah.
A lot of stuff just doesn't bleed.
However, you know what enemies have a significantly reduced resistance to for whatever flipping reason? Physical and internal trauma damage.
Yes. So
what if they don't
sometimes
have internals to traumatize?
Done.
you just
well,
smash. Don't matter. Just smash.
well, if they don't have internals to trauma, they're immune to it. See skeletons. But
You don't see skeletons all that often, actually.
there's that entire area immediately after Act 2.
Oh yeah, that's
like
right.
on the long trek to Homestead is like half of what you fight.
Yeah,
The
the Aether
very
skeletons.
the very long trek to Homestead. I would not have picked up another character if I had to do the long trek to Homestead again. I would have just sucked it up and played the Barbarian. But I had another
yeah.
character at Homestead, and I'm like, okay, we ain't got to do that again. It's the worst part of the game.
It is the worst part of the game because it just goes and goes and goes. So yeah, maybe when I dust off and do a barbarian character, maybe I'll go a barbarian necro and just do a full life drain build. That's a thing you can do.
Yeah, pretty much anything you can think of can be made to work in Grim Dawn.
To a degree, yeah.
I mean,
Provided you don't get stuffed on gear.
yeah, within reason.
Within reason.
Well, they've added if you really just get screwed, like Grim Dawn has solved the problem of ARPG and RPG in general scaling that before anybody else, and has had it solved for like 7 years, and I don't know why other companies don't do it. Because
One of my great frustrations is I had a many dozens of hours Borderlands save that was just scuffed because my gear got outscaled by the enemies and there was nowhere that I could successfully farm for more. It
Yeah.
was just became a real grind because everything was taking not enough damage.
yeah, Grim Dawn does 3 things that fix the scaling problem. First, they fix inherent level problems, where there are fixed level ranges in every area of the game that are huge that enemies can spawn in, but at the same time, as you progress through the game, you will eventually outlevel those areas. But they've got like 20 levels that that the enemies will spawn in depending on your level. It's all relative to you. So when you get to an area, if you had to go and grind to get some gear, you're not screwing yourself out of the experience because the enemies will still scale to you. But at the same time, when you go back to an area way after you're done because you want to farm something specific there, you still get the feeling of being in an RPG and you're going back to an old place with bigger numbers and can just waffle stomp the place. So that's number 1. Number 2, they have the Crucible and by proxy the Shattered Realm, because you have access to if you have Forgotten Gods, you have access to that immediately after Act 1. The green portal opens up right outside of town.
Yeah.
So you can just go farm there whenever you want, and the loot there is good, and will always be your level.
And it actually looks good, sort of.
Well, unfortunately,
it looks completely ostentatious.
Yeah, unfortunately for Shattered Realm, place is a little buggy right now.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But so they did all that, and they have the faction vendors that you can just buy gear at if you really just go grind rep and you don't have the Crucible or Forgotten Gods DLC. And the rep is not that bad to grind compared to other ARPGs in Grim Dawn. Takes like an hour to hit Revered with anybody.
Just go and find an enemy that they don't like and go ham.
Yeah, just go grab some bounties from them and go murder stuff they don't like. Devil's Crossing is the most pain in the butt one, and that takes like an hour and a half. Because the only thing that gets you rep with them is Crowley's gang.
Yeah.
All that stuff you're doing on the other side of the prison, no, that doesn't get you rep. Only Crowley's gang for whatever reason.
I just really don't like that guy.
Like, you can do the entirety of Act 1, go through, take out the warden, all of that stuff, and you still haven't achieved the first rank.
Yeah, you will have achieved Honored, I think, and still have 2 whole ranks because the main quests give you rep with Devil's Crossing.
Yeah. So it gets you close to Honored, but not quite.
But yeah. So they've solved this leveling conundrum that other RPGs have, and I don't know why other companies haven't just copied it, because it works. And yeah.
So one of the big things I think I'm really appreciating in the new expansion and the lead ups that came with it, all the quality of life changes they've done.
Yeah. So this is the big reason this took forever. Apparently, because I was interested when the expansion came out. Like, why the heck did this take eonks to come out? So in addition to this being the last hurrah for Crate and Grim Dawn before they move on to whatever their next project is, they also did because it's Crate. The reason we're having so many launch bugs that they're releasing hotfixes nonstop. They went into the engine and did a whole lot of back-end crap to future-proof the game to make it last as long as possible on modern hardware.
Mm-hmm.
And this had the predictable effect of taking the Titan Quest engine that still has the same map bug as Titan Quest that uses so much of the OG Titan Quest engine and bolting crap onto it.
Yep.
So
considering how old Titan Quest is, it's actually holding up considerably well.
You will still have black boxes from the on the map where the Fog of War just reappears.
Oh yeah,
Like this has
that
been
bug
around.
has never gone away.
That has been around since Titan Quest.
Yes, the original.
Like it's just baked into the engine when they put it together. But yeah, when you're bolting stuff onto that engine, you get shoes like chain crashing in multiplayer. So they're trying to future proof this thing as much as they can to give base Grim Dawn as much of a life as they can. With this latest patch.
Yeah. Like, in terms of visuals, they've given it a little bit of a visual zhuzh during the development cycle, because a lot of the stuff that's in the expansion now has been put in before. A lot of the quality of life changes and the lighting zhuzh,
Yeah.
primarily.
And a bunch of the stuff they've put in too has been mods. Like the only mod that is really popular they haven't implemented is Grim Dawn loot colors, which you should install because it's a simple text file and doesn't mess with anything.
Yeah.
It just all it does is change the stats on every piece of gear to have a color on their text, so that you
Just
can
makes it more readable.
it makes it so you can quickly see what's on a piece of equipment when you pick it up. Like physical will be brown, internal trauma will be brown, bleed and pierce stuff will be red.
Hmm.
Yeah, lightning will be blue. It just is way easier to see. Like if you haven't got the updated version of the mod fern because the old one doesn't work, it's a simple text file. I can just send it to you and tell you where to put it.
I'll go grab it later.
Oh, that's what I mean. You go to grab it now, it doesn't work. You have to
just drop it through Discord.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just send you the text file later.
Yeah. So, no, there's a couple of mods that got really popular. Things like improving the loot filter, which they've incorporated into the base game. Rejiggering how potions work, that's in the base game now.
Yeah.
So you don't buy potions anymore. You just have a potion button or 2 potion buttons.
Yeah.
They just recharge.
The biggest one from when we were last playing they added was the send all materials to storage and being able to turn in quests from your shared storage. So
yes.
if you have scrap in your shared storage that gets auto sent there, by the way, when you push the send all materials button, and a quest needs it for you to complete the quest, you can just turn it in.
It just pulls it straight from the stash, which is glorious.
You need to go and pull an augment off a piece of gear, or pull an augment off of a piece of gear. Just talk to the enchanter lady in Devil's Crossing, and you don't have to go fish dynamite out of your stash anymore.
Nope. It just, again, straight from the stash. And all of those consumables, crafting materials, your socketed items, they just have slots in the stash now.
Yeah.
We were client just crashed.
Yeah.
So they took up, like, I used to have a tab just dedicated to that sort of stuff, but now there's just a pre-existing tab. It's all just there.
Oh,
Neatly arranged.
The second thing I did was I logged on to my my mage hunter, my arcanist / inquisitor wombo combo with a heavy focus on arcanist. And I logged onto her and I saw that like her third bag was just full and strategically organized full to maximize it so that every slot was taken so nothing would ever go in that bag that wasn't manually put there of scrap, dynamite, potions, like just miscellaneous commonly dropped components that would gut up your inventory.
You just had a bag dedicated just to that.
Yeah, bag 3 was dedicated for that. And it was meticulously organized so that it all fit perfectly and was categorized inside the bag. I'm like, send all to storage, and everything except the potions went to storage, and I was so happy.
Yep. So it's just so much better now. So neat and tidy.
Yep.
Being able to tell at a glance exactly what sort of crafting materials and sockets you've got just there and ready to go.
Yeah. It's like the fact that I could just log on to all my characters and dump their crap in storage meant I didn't have to do any scrap farming or any dynamite farming or anything like that.
I didn't pay attention and I got.
No. But yeah, normal mode Grim Dawn has always been stupidly easy. You could get out
Yeah.
over your skis with some bad modifiers in normal, but it's there to get you started. I guess it's necessary for people that have been playing modern ARPGs that don't have any teeth to them. But Grim Dawn is the last of the like true to form Diablo 2 inspired ARPGs. Like Path of Exile is a total spreadsheet simulator that goes off into full near factorio levels of autism mode. Like
Yeah.
it's the only other one that comes close. And then
Path of Exile 2 still has that, by the way. It still gets pretty autismal.
oh yeah, that's what I meant. I meant Path of Exile too. But
Yeah. Both of them.
yeah, both of them. But Grim Dawn is the most Diablo 2 esque of the modern ARPGs. Like it doesn't have you still have to town portal back to town. It understands the value of not having everything done in a menu outside the field. You still do have to go back to town and do some gear sorting and look at the gear you get.
Mm-hmm.
But not having the right gear can just screw your build. You do need to pay attention to the drops, but it's not to the totally autistic level of Path of Exile. And it's also Grim Dawn, I find, is just the most single player accessible of all the ARPGs right now. Like it just has a big consistent world. Like the world is absolutely flipping bonkers in how big it is after 3 expansions. And
yeah, Astrakhan just added, I think, 3/4 of the base game world back into it again.
yeah, like
It's huge.
For those that don't
Ridiculous
remember,
big.
like base game Grim Dawn, if we say something is nearly as big as the base game in Grim Dawn, base game Grim Dawn is a 30-hour game.
Yeah.
And they want $17 for that in a genre that, or a subgenre of a genre that just doesn't see a lot of love right now. That's just give them the money.
Just give them the money. Money is there.
Like
It's worth it.
Yeah, Crate is a small team. You know, they took their time with it and they put out a lot of stuff, and they are very big on communication with the fan base about what they're doing with the game and making changes in response to it. Like literally the only thing I've wanted them to put in is the simple text file that puts colors on loot. Like everything else that I've been like, I wish they would put that in. Eventually they did. What is going on here?
Actually, I haven't even looked at the new and improved loot filter. You can just change it so it only shows the type of damage you want. Or the loot that carries the type of damage you want, I should say.
Well,
which is nice because
I got thoroughly distracted by a circle of otters playing and singing hearts at each other, and I swiped my sword near them, and they gave me a whole bunch of otter rocks.
Yeah, right.
Congratulations.
But yeah, the new loot filter works great. Like when you get to the end of Act 1, you can just turn off yellows.
Yeah.
They
You
also
need them.
They also made apparently they made it easier to transfer iron between characters now, where iron bars are easier to craft, and you can just move those between characters and go to Forgotten Gods if you got that, and compress and decompress the iron bars, so you don't have to worry about running out of money to buy stuff from like faction vendors on alts.
Yep, there's a dedicated dodge button now, which is really nice. Which nice. You can also upgrade.
Yeah, it's. Oh, can you upgrade it?
Yeah, it's. I think the first access you get to them is through Forgotten Gods, and there's sockets onto a. What are they onto? A medallion, I think. They socket onto?
That's not actually a replacement for the dodge.
No, it's not a replacement.
That you still have the dodge button that behaves as a dodge, but that socket does what it's always done in Forgotten Gods. It just gives you a new ability that acts as a mobility tool.
Yeah, so it makes getting around a lot easier.
They did, however, just give Berserker access to the baseline version. 2 of the best one, which is Leap.
Yep.
Because everybody takes Leap. Because it lets you jump over walls.
Yes.
And is the fastest. Like everybody takes Rift Walk or Leap, and the only reason you would take Rift Walk over Leap is because your character just needs to have that class fantasy or whatever.
Sometimes it's more satisfying to bamf.
Yeah, so So yeah, they baked a bunch of those tools into Berserker by default, but that's still there. You can still go to Forgotten Gods, or if you've already beaten Forgotten Gods, you can just craft it as soon as you hit level 33 and just slap it on your medal.
Yeah.
And it just gives you access to a new skill that is, if you go in the skills tab and add it to your hotbar, it's just a mobility tool, and there's like 7 flavors of it, and that's still there.
Yeah, like most of them are not great, but they are fun.
Well, there's
So,
it doesn't matter because you get access to Leap or Riftwalk, and that changes the speed you can clear the game. Can you? I said Grim Dawn's base game is 30 hours. That's with Leap and Riftwalk because I've never played the base game without Leap and Riftwalk.
yeah.
I can only imagine how long it takes without Leap and Riftwalk because of all those dungeons you have to go through with the little walls everywhere that Leap and Riftwalk just let you skip and go around.
Oh yeah, well I'm doing one of those at the moment, being the warden's lab.
Yeah,
This
like
place is all little thin walls. You can just skip through if you had that.
as long
I
as
don't have it.
yeah, as long as a gap exists in the wall, within about 30 character links, if you press leap while pointing your control stick or your cursor on the other side of the wall, you'll just hop over the wall.
Yeah.
And
Although for the charge skills, there is something to be said for pointing on the far side of a small wall and just having your character absolutely leg it all the way around.
yeah, that is really funny when they do that. Especially when
It never gets old.
Yeah, especially when the pathing starts wigging out.
Yeah. Just start zooming all over the place. It's great.
So yeah, that while there are expected technical issues with Grim Dawn going through and trying to do upgrades to his engine, it's still Grim Dawn. It's still fun.
It's a 20-year-old engine. You got to give him a break.
It does have a memory leak right now, not a big one. It's a very small one. It takes like, you know, I had to leave the game on, go walk away, and come back twice. So like for 2 days, I would have the game on, walk away, come back, and it would eventually start having more and more issues, and the game still does not like you to alt tab on loading screens.
Oh no, it really hates that.
Do
Titan
not.
Quest also really hated
That's
that.
a classic.
Yeah.
It used to be every single game was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you alt tab on a loading screen. No, you're not getting Yam back. It's gone.
Yeah, we're still on a 2008 engine here. Like this is don't do that.
It's you probably should be doing it even on a modern engine, honestly.
Yeah, it's too risky. But I've been so well treated by games lately with that like I was putting on an anime or something. I was watching the new season of Slime Time while I was going through, and I would tab out to change episodes during a loading screen. Don't do that. Your game will crash.
But yeah, Grim Dawn is good time. Is good vidya.
Yeah, I really want to emphasize that Crate is a company so far that has demonstrated they're worth supporting.
Yes.
And
they also put themselves in the game as a bonus boss.
As the hardest bonus boss of Forgotten Gods, just called the Crate of Entertainment.
Yes.
Which I have never beat.
It is just a big box.
Yeah, like I have a relatively well-farmed Aether damage with the laser beam and stuff, Mage Hunter. And I there was no shot with the gear I had.
That thing is designed to break builds.
Like
that's its whole purpose.
The Crate of Entertainment is just like, nah, F you.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna roll now. Let's go.
Like Avatar Mondrogan, no, I can take that. It was a long fight, but we got there. Like the Ravager, okay, took forever. Could do that one. Crate of Entertainment, nah.
Nah.
Now, granted, that was on normal mode because I think you can just start on veteran with this expansion now, regardless of
you always could.
Yeah, could you? Okay.
Yeah, you always could.
Yeah, because
but
I started
on veteran. Anything higher, no.
Yeah, because I started on normal with my Arcanist, and they're somewhere in the middle of Ashes of Mammoth. I think they're in the Cannibal Swamp right now.
Yeah, right. Because there's always Cannibal Swamp in these games.
At least it's not a poison swamp.
There's a poison swamp.
Oh, there is one, but it's not the feature of the expansion.
No, it's just kind of there.
See Miyazaki and his obsession.
Miyazaki's job is perfectly safe. It's fine.
Like he remains the king of poison swamps.
Thunderpants. That's what I want.
Yeah. I could log on and see if I've got any lightning gear laying around because I made that when we were playing. I made that that lightning shaman
Yep.
that I was playing with you guys.
Which is always fun when you smack something and just chain lightning everywhere.
Yeah, tons of chain lightning, mega big damage on a single hit, two-handed weapon.
That is how shaman do.
I'm my Oathkeeper build right now is the stupid build, the one that uses two-handed weapons.
Yep.
Now, if you have never looked at the Oathkeeper skill tree before, you will notice there are not many things that take advantage of two-handed weapons in that tree. They really want you to use a shield. In fact, most of the
By
skills,
design, it is the shield tree.
yeah, most of the abilities say does bonus damage with the shield. But I said nah, we're going total dummy with this. We're gonna go for the big damage with it. Just rely on the pets and health regen to keep me alive.
Yeah, hold my beer. Yeah, like it's good that it gives you those options. Like they built Oathkeeper specifically because there was just nothing for shields in the previous versions of the game before that.
Yeah, it was they were effectively a caster offhand. With there was like a few things in Soldier that used them.
Like one or two abilities. Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure they didn't patch in this ability gets bonus damage with a shield equipped later.
Yeah. But yeah, so she says, all right, we need a shield tree. Here's a shield tree.
But yeah.
And that's kind of where Inquisitor came from too, because it's a tree that does a lot of things, but now doesn't really dedicate itself to anything.
Yeah. I thought it was Necromancer that they added in a patch.
Necromancer came with Necromancer I think came with a patch. It was Inquisitor and Oathkeeper that came with the first expansion.
Okay, was Inquisitor only with that expansion?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I started after Forgotten Gods, so everything except Berserker has always existed. I started playing right when Forgotten Gods came out.
Yeah. So yeah, those two trees, the Oathkeeper and the Inquisitor, were put into the game specifically to fill specific niches.
Yeah, Inquisitor.
So you have your big defensive tree, and now you have a jack of all trades tree.
Yeah, well, yeah, Inquisitor is the non-melee. Okay, we needed a dual guns spec because that really focused on the dual guns stuff and caster support.
Yep.
Because that
so it just gives you a big box of tools.
Yeah, it's relatively safe as a second choice for anything that's not a melee class, and even then they can make it work. You'll just be playing.
Got some things in there that work for melee.
Yeah, you'll be playing Circle Dawn though with the seal you drop on the ground.
Oh yeah, you will be. You'll stay in your circle.
You gotta be dropping your ley lines and playing Genshin Impact over here.
2 levels up. I need to spend those points.
Yeah, I also find Grim Dawn is just the most of the ARPGs that exist. Some of them are so married to the part of the Diablo formula that I like the least. That being the the totally randomized map every time you load in, but Grim Dawn doesn't have that.
No, it's got a few bits of that are random. Like there'll be a dungeon that'll move around, a secret dungeon. It'll be in like 3 or 4 different places. But beyond that,
yeah, the only things that are randomized in the game are the Shattered Realm, which is designed to be the roguelite mode, if you want to farm there instead of the Crucible, and the challenge dungeons I think have a fixed number of layouts, but they're not totally random. These being what you need to craft the skeleton keys for, like that skeleton dungeon at the end of a random cave in the middle of Old Arcovia, which I actually need to do on my Oathkeeper for a quest, but it is really tough solo.
Trying to fight Craig. Me, Craig. Craig.
Oh no.
For you, Craig. He hits like a truck in veteran mode if you're not geared.
Oh yeah, Aether damage is going to be the bane of your existence in veteran mode when you're going through it on a fresh character, because you don't have any inherent resistance to it, and anything that does it tends to leave puddles or have the Aether goop the
Yeah.
really bad lightning crackly aether group, and there's those like whole areas of the game. Whoa, GPU, you haven't my skybox just there it goes.
Yeah, there's whole sections of the game, and again, the trek to Homestead has a lot of them.
Yeah, well,
But it's
Homestead,
just aether
Homestead
poop on the ground everywhere.
it's not so much the trek to Homestead that has the aether stuff. It's at Homestead. You have to go that you there are the 3 quests in Homestead. Like the main quest is to go straight and do the objectives there after going halfway to the left to clear out the bugs. But the other ways are the bug and cultist side on the left of Homestead, and then the Aether Nightmare on the right of Homestead that is a pain on everybody that isn't a range class.
Uh-huh. Oops, I got got. 'Cause, yeah, you get into phase 2 of the Craig fight, and he basically straight up isekais you at that point.
Yeah, Port Valbury. Why?
Maybe I should try and resume progress on that game. I don't even know where I left off.
Start over.
I don't remember if there was a story or not.
There
There is.
you
There is.
there is you do have to do some like actually read the lore notes. There was a guy making YouTube videos on it that was doing a relatively good job, but he stopped like halfway through. So,
Yeah.
but it's enough of a primer, and he only covers topics. He doesn't cover it chronologically to get you the grounding for it, and then you can read the lore notes to figure out what the rest of the stuff's going on. But the story is basically that in Grim Dawn, uh, there were there was a god named Cathan that it made a bunch of smaller gods, and they were all happy. But the smaller gods wanted to have more power, so they killed Cathan and used his blood to make the mortal world to have something to rule over. And the problem is
That's
Cathan is
gratitude for you.
yeah, the problem is
Mhm.
Cathan isn't dead, even though his flesh was torn to pieces and his blood used to make mortals. Uh he can still feel everything the mortals do because they're a part of him. So anytime they're in pain, he feels it, and this has driven him insane of just a eternity of perpetual torment. And he has begun whispering to people, and the gods that ripped into pieces, the ethereals, are possessing people in the mortal world to uh, solidify a stronghold there, and further influence the people, all while Daddy is waking up. And
Okay, so whose side are you even on?
your own and the world.
Yeah.
You want to if you could, you would kick both the Cathan cultists that are trying to summon him and the ethereals out, and you wind up mass slaughtering gazillions of them.
Well, it's a ARPG, so mass slaughter is sort of
Kind of comes with the
needful.
territory.
Yeah, and there are various local issues and minor deities of the world that, like the Wendigo god with the Ravagers and stuff. Oh, not the Ravagers. That's the name of the god. I forget what their actual faction's called.
I forget. But yeah, like the writing in Grim Dawn, it's not super complicated, and I think that honestly works.
Yeah, it's there if you want it, but it's
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Diablo benefited a huge amount from Blizzard's writer starting to get too lodged up their own backside about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It just seemed that sort of thing seems to result in girl bosses.
it resulted in girl bosses. Yes,
Yeah. The
Diablo 4 is full of them. Although a good majority of them end up dead, so there's that.
yeah. But I like the way Grim Dawn handles the light lore touch, and that they just give you lore notes as you progress you can read instead of needing to go hunt down item descriptions.
Yeah, there's a little bit of lore in the quest dialogue, but that's usually under like half a paragraph at most.
Yeah, whenever you find a lore note, you just right click on it and it permanently gets added to your lore log, and it gives you
And
some
it gives you a little bit of experience, which is nice.
Yeah, it always incentivizes you to do it because it frees up the inventory slot and it gives you a chunk of experience whenever you add one for the first time on a character. And but the lore is just all there whenever you want to go flip through it and see what's going on. But you don't have to do any kind of like item hunt. I have Paul come to me or attempt to come to me. I have clipped inside of a box and I'm stuck.
Damn.
Um,
I almost had him and I got.
Let me
I'm
out.
not sure where you are. There's no call out to.
Oh.
Oh, I see your sparkles.
Okay, I popped out of the box when I turned into a mech. It made me fat enough. I wound up inside this thing.
Well, there's lots of glitches for Amith because of her shifting between two forms.
Yeah.
Apparently, when they were developing Amith, there was a really persistent bug where after switching to her Exostrider armament, she would just get stuck with that weapon, no matter whether she went back to human form or not. But the weapon was gigantic, so it looked ridiculous.
Oh, so it's like
That's pretty funny.
not sitting in her hand right, and she just got this big RP glowy spear that she's swinging around with her human animations. Probably not even sitting in the hand right. Turned all cattywampus. That's funny. I love when that happens.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah. I always enjoy going back to Grim Dawn and poking it. It is the perfect game for when you want an ARPG, or you want something to play. You want to be engaged while playing, but you want to just set a goal for the build and not have to really do any spreadsheeting, and you just don't want to brain very much, and just see the build continue to improve and test it as you go.
Well, that's great, because I never want to brain.
Yeah, like the game. The game is like, okay, I want to do this build. I want to use these types of damage. I'm going to find every piece of gear and install the color filter so it's easy to read. And just every piece of gear that has, physical damage on it, is the percentage bigger? Does it hurt my other stats too much? If not, equip gear.
That was my approach to my favorite character, which is the demolitionist.
Yeah,
I think it was called.
Yep, demolitionist.
It's just like all of the things that make more fire happen. I want those things. I don't care about the others.
Yeah, like you can get excessively autistic about it if you really want to.
Yeah,
but you don't have to.
It's definitely there, and if you're level 100, trying to make an in-game build, yeah, that's where the autism comes in. But if you're just leveling a new character to try out a new build, Grim Dawn's great.
Yeah,
for that.
because you can just jump into the game and say, I want all of the fire, and it will work.
Yeah, and it's been great on the Steam Deck because they added full Steam Deck support and Steam controller support with this expansion.
Yes,
like full native support for the Steam, specifically the Steam controller and the Steam Deck. You go into the Steam overlay UI, and it's one of them games that has the actions built directly into the overlay, and it changes the hotkeys in game.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to mess with it in game anymore. You just pull up Steam overlay and change it however you want, and change it quickly, because that UI is actually very usable now and very good after many years of shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
pity that since the data center mangas arrived, nobody can afford a Steam Deck anymore.
Yeah. And the Steam Deck support has been great. It's got a native check mark inside the game that just if you turn it on, just makes the game work flawlessly at 60 FPS on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Like you literally open the options and push the button.
Well, tangent into the final thing for my week is I got an interesting email the other day.
Oh dear.
A couple of days ago.
Oh dear.
No, it's saying I could finally purchase my Steam controller.
Oh yay.
So that's finally happened. They actually put out estimates a couple of weeks ago on the purchase thing. So that tells you the window now as to when your controller is going to be available. And mine was actually saying December.
Yeah, they added that about 3 weeks after launch because so many people were in the queue.
Yeah, it's because, all right, we got to tell them something.
I like that they got out ahead of the scalpers, because everybody hates scalpers.
Yeah, well, the initial batch did have a scalper problem, but every...
Yeah, well, the thing is that they actually reacted. Most developers of products don't bother. They figure, well, we got the sale, so who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, got mine.
Yeah, you have to have an account in good standing with Steam, like 3 weeks before the Steam controller came out. You're only allowed one per customer, and still only allowed one per customer. I had my sister use her Steam account to put in a request for one, and told her I would pay her like $15 more than the controller and let her keep the difference of Steam currency if she would use her one purchase to get me another one, so I can take one to the office for days where I'm stuck in hurry up and wait mode after 5 o'clock.
I think once you've got one, you can go back into the queue, but you go back at the back of the
No,
queue.
no, you're not allowed to buy another one. Period. Right now.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, they're really trying to make sure everybody that wants one can get one.
Except for
And
people who
only
live in New
one.
Zealand.
Yeah.
So yeah, they notably actually when they put the GameCube out, it started with that system in place.
Yeah, they had not released hardware for a while, and none of it had been quite as popular as the Steam controller. But the Steam controller filled a niche that
Yeah.
just was really open in the market, and I guess they just were kind of blind to how big that hole was, and that they want people that want a symmetrical controller that behaves on PC, like the
Yeah. 'Cause
PlayStation.
right now you've got an Xbox controller, and even then that's kind of iffy.
You know, that's not a symmetrical controller. That's an Xbox form factor, and
Yes.
Yeah, that's asymmetric. But
Asymmetric.
the manufacturer of my controller have released a symmetric one recently that is doing really well. They haven't managed to get it like global yet. It's available in most countries from Amazon now, but it's gotten relatively good reviews. So since Steam are just refusing to sell theirs to me, I guess I'll just have to look elsewhere.
yeah, I
Yes.
I wonder why it is that they're not selling it to New Zealand, because normally that seems outside of Gabe's normal MO.
Yeah, there's got to be some
I
sort of
don't know.
catch to something going on.
I haven't seen any information anywhere bothering to explain it in any way.
Yeah,
Like the whole reason I have the controller that I have now is because I wasn't able to get the Valve one. Like this, like you just defied your your prime directive for Steam, which is to provide better service as a means of making sales. And so, well, you didn't provide me any service, so I went to a third party and got something there, which is serviceable enough. It's got its foibles, namely that it's asymmetric, but it has worked flawlessly on PC. Perfectly negotiates with the computer, no issues whatsoever. Very good software for tuning the sticks, tuning the buttons, tuning the vibration, tuning anything that you might want. So, yeah, I mean, you could have had a sale, but you chose not to by not selling to my country
yeah.
for reasons that nobody can explain.
I have to assume, because it's Steam, that they just didn't account for some logistical issue, or there was some kind of legal issue. I doubt it was legal, actually, but they must have just
Well,
forgot to account for some logistical issue.
well, it's not like New Zealand has any local gamepad companies, but other companies are able to sell their gamepads here. So what's the deal?
I have no idea. That's why it's such a
It's
mystery.
it's very, very strange. Let's just check again to see if anything has changed. What has changed is that I can't find it on the store anymore.
That's different again. Okay.
Let's
Is it
see.
only New Zealand?
Yeah, it's not on the only difference between the last time I looked in now is that currently my whatchamacallit, my VPN is running.
Right.
Interestingly, if I play a Ho-Yo game with a VPN running, it thinks I'm in Australia.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why. When I don't have the VPN running, it puts me in, other. But
Just other.
but when I use a VPN on a Ho-Yo game, it thinks I'm in Australia, which is very strange.
It is
Yeah,
strange.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, Fern, when you do get your Steam controller, from pester me to link you a GitHub program called Steamless Controller. While they are releasing firmware updates and stuff for the Super Controller all the time, um, I haven't encountered any issues with it and have no actual idea what all these firmware updates do. But there is a GitHub program that if you need to use it for a non-Steam game, what you do is you you just turn on the controller with it dongled to your PC. So you just turn it on and you close Steam and you open this program up and you hit turn on Steamless mode, and it'll work flawlessly as an Xbox 360 controller emulated for all other games. with from what I can tell, no input delay. So
Nice.
this is not an issue most of the time, for most games, but specifically for the Hoyo games, if you're not launching, like ZZZ, you can launch through Steam. Um, but like Star Rail and Genshin, you can't. So
I've never heard of anybody having as much trouble getting their controller to work on Hoyo games as you.
yeah. Well, it's because
Even
I
when we were using the same controller, I had no trouble and you had trouble.
yeah, it's probably some setting I hadn't enabled because I mucked with the old version of Steam Input quite a bit, and it saves some settings. And the reason the Steam controller doesn't work is because it needs full Steam Input turned on all the time, and uh, for convenience sake, to access a lot of controller features, you just want the desktop controls turned on all the time as well. But this means your computer needs Steam to pick up the controller and say, yes, this is a Steam controller. If you do that. So this was an expected problem with this controller. But it's a super duper easy fix. All you need is the Steamless controller program. And you just literally double click it, turn it on, and then when you're done with whatever non-Steam game you're playing, you just turn it off and close the program. It is very nice to have consistently working Rumble though.
Yeah, it tends to be a lot of games tend to be very weird about Rumble.
My third party one has been fine. Like, I've been astonished at how well it worked. I was like, controller from random Chinese company. I have no idea how this is going to perform, but it's basically been flawless in every respect, apart from the fact that the D-pad is dicky because every D-pad is dicky for some reason.
Please, people, do split D-pads that are actually split inside of it. Please, 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 please.
I don't see why they can't just have like freaking, just 4 separate buttons. Just make them 4 separate buttons and keep them 4 separate buttons. Have that be an option, okay? How many games actually use a D-pad as a D-pad that aren't fighters?
But even then, if you play platformers, you still want a split D-pad like that.
I managed to resolve most of my problems with Gacha, at least, by there's an option in the software for my gamepad which basically disallows a D-pad from receiving more than one input simultaneously, meaning that you can only press up, down, left, or right at one at a time, so you don't end up, pushing it slightly kittywampus and getting a random output.
Yeah. I should check and see if the Steam controller's got anything like that in Steam Input, because it has a lot of special options. I've looked through them once, but did not have not looked recently, and I did not specifically look for that. But that might be worth checking out.
It has resolved a lot of issues for me, like because my particular use case is mainly Gacha, where you're using the D-pad buttons as selectors for various things. So
Yeah. But like even people that play fighting games don't want a slidey D-pad. Like platformers, fighting games, generic action games, nobody wants a slidey D-pad. I don't. It is better in every use case for the D-pad to be properly split. But no, companies just don't do it for whatever flipping reason. They insist on making. I guess because it's cheaper to cut that piece of plastic that way, and the gasket inside of it.
I think it's probably that they're buying parts from some supplier, and it fits better like that or something.
Possibly.
It's all right. I'll see how long that's going to take to turn up. Actually, do I have a tracking on it yet? It didn't come up with the tracking immediately.
No, kind of hijacked Fern's excitement for his Steam controller there.
That's all right. Let's see.
At least they don't need RAM.
They do not.
Yeah, and it's currently cheaper than the DualSense. Or the DualSense equivalent that has all the extra buttons and stuff.
Looks like I don't have tracking on it, so I don't know when I'm going to get it.
Oh yeah, they'll even when I got in the initial batch, because I was refreshing the page to try and get the initial batch of controllers during lunch at work, and yeah, they didn't have tracking for a very long time.
Yeah. Like, it's not uncommon, especially because if that's coming from the States, where I won't get tracking until it arrives in Australia.
Yeah, they shipped it through. What did they ship it through? Can I check that in my Steam history? Make sure OBS ain't capturing that Steam window. It might have been FedEx, or they might have sent it via.
Glad you got it in one piece then.
Yeah, the other
Ah,
people tell me FedEx is fine when they're the Atlanta area. It's not.
that was a mistake. I just wandered into the Shattered Realm.
Oh yeah.
I am not ready for
Why
the
would you
Shattered
do
Realm.
What level are the character or the enemies in the Shattered Realm right now?
33.
Okay, so it is scaled to your level.
Yeah, I'm level 28 at the moment, so like it's scaled, but even then it's like, yeah, you're not supposed to be in here just yet.
The multiplayer is not working properly, or we could have played it on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible they did put out a patch today. It's possible it got fixed, but
I haven't looked at what's in that patch.
I would not want, while they're still doing mechanical fixes, I would not want to run OBS at the same time for the same reason that ZZZ's having trouble.
It's always had a few little quirks about it with OBS. Nothing game breaking in the past, anyway.
Yeah, well, we were able to do it fine before. View shipment details. Oh, they use UPS. Okay, so yeah, it was fine.
Okay, it'll end up being Australia Post for me.
UPS is the good one, right? Not USPS.
Yeah, USPS is bad. You don't want the United States Postal Service.
Unless you don't mind it taking 6 weeks to arrive at its location, and it will look like it has been underwater the entire time.
Yeah, like
How do they even do that?
as somebody that has a PO box, I can tell you the quality of people working at the post office are they're not sending their best.
I'm honestly kind of spoiled because our local post office ladies are amazing. So
Our local post office people are not the same at any given time, and they do not give a crap.
oh no.
Well, just sounds like a small town versus big city to me.
Yeah, like our post office ladies have been there forever, and even if people put the complete or wrong address on my mail, it still gets to me.
Yeah, the post office is a public service on the civilized side of the county. I say civilized in big fat air quotes.
I sort of have fond memories of the post office, because the post office when I grew up was like a very quaint old British style brick building, which was dedicated to the post, and was like it was kind of resembled a bank in a lot of ways, in that it was like clearly designed for people to spend quite a bit of time there, sort of thing.
Yep.
Ours is a Frankenstein monstrosity that still somehow manages to look like modern building architecture, because it started as a normal building, like that was just the post office forever, before I was born, and had a nice little lobby area that's still there. It's still a part of the building. They just stuck a giant brutalist square block on top of it to put all the PO boxes.
We used to have those standing red post boxes that people would put letters in my hometown.
They had to move
Yeah.
all.
The sort of thing that you only see in media now.
Yeah, they had to move all of the outdoor mailing boxes inside, where they can lock them up at night,
They got vandalized
because Atlanta.
because Atlanta.
Shit.
My local post office has been there for about 130 years, which in Australia terms is actually a really long time.
A quarter of our building has been there for like 100 years. Well, 150 years, whenever the Buford used to be just a railway stop.
Yeah.
Did
And then they
the
went
old
and
one get
ruined it.
burned down by by a Union general.
Nah, it didn't. Buford wasn't established until after the Civil War, shortly
So
after
they
the
were
Civil War.
part of the rebuild.
Yeah, it was
Anyway,
originally the city that people fled from the carpetbaggers to, or one of the many.
so yeah, we were still on my week, so I'm going to end it there.
Yeah. Hey, you
We
actually
kind of
did.
rambled a bit.
Oh, you actually did something that I have commentary on for once.
Yes.
Shame you missed the last two shows because I had Ultra Kill and Emperor Text to Speech.
Ah,
You missed
but yeah, that's how it goes.
you missed me finally finishing TTS.
You would have probably heard me just ranting about how drunk cowboys are the worst. As if I don't do that enough as it is.
Yeah. All
How
right.
do you people function?
Well, on the plus side, the part of my week that was originally going to be, I assume would be solo week stuff, got all covered in yours because it was too tired for the real world because work was very, very intense this week. It paid off, but it was very intense this week. I made a whole mess of sales and was busy until 7 o'clock practically every day. So I would get home, and all but one day where I made a very bad decision we'll talk about later, I would just go lay down in bed and play Grand Dawn. The Steam Deck, yo.
Steam Deck, yo.
So I'll talk more about the other thing I did when we get to it in Vol's week, which you don't play ZZ Fern, but this might give you a reason to, because it's different than what you normally would expect.
What?
So we'll get there when we get there. So Vol, your week, go.
I had a rough week at work. I'm trying to cover over a whole bunch of extra work that was brought in heedless of our ability to actually do it. So I'm outrageously busy at awkward times, and since it's quite complicated work, I don't really have very many other people capable of doing it, since the average skill level has plummeted recently due to absences and people leaving and so forth. So I've been extremely busy and doing a lot of late nights. So I haven't done much gaming. The Gacha roundup is, I haven't logged into Blue Archive, but there should be nothing going on right now since we're at the end of part 1. And everybody is still salty about the Gacha system changes. So yeah, a lot of people have just quit.
Yeah.
Because well, you've got to send a message. You can't just employ the EA guy and expect people to continue behaving as though you didn't. So yeah.
I have noticed a lot of, because I'm still subscribed to a bunch of the Mimi or cute animation channels for Blue Archive. Like there's a guy that would post all the new chibi models, animations and stuff, and make little shorts like the Penguin Emma short, or the Brain Rot channels like She's Not Cooking What Sugar, and they've all just slowed down or stopped. Like I have not seen very
the
many
sort
my
of the
feed.
question on everybody's mind is, was this actually the intended result? Were they actually just trying to kill the property outright? That's the question. I don't know why you would do that, considering how much traction it's got in Japan.
I mean,
like more than any other property in the world in this space.
like Nexon
But,
doesn't have another cash cow, do they? Not certainly not to the level of Blue Archive.
No, but I don't know. I don't know how they appraise that situation. I don't know if they've got a parent company who just doesn't care.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense financially or socially or for your reputation. There's no avenue where it makes sense to do this.
Yeah, well, the thing is that it might just be too much of a conspiracy theory to assume that they were killing it on purpose, simply because we know that the guy in charge is a retard, because he was the one that presided over the fall of Battlefield. So, yeah. I mean, he killed one property for no reason. There's no reason to believe he wouldn't kill another property for no reason
Yeah.
other than he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just a retard.
He's just a corpo idiot that's like, ooh, I know how we can get some good short-term profits, and that's as far as his brain thinks ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that even if you math it out, most of the benefits are psychological. They keep people engaged with the game. There's not that of the current system. They're not. They don't cause the company to lose any meaningful amount of money. Like if let's say there was no change in player behavior, people still pulled on what they would pull on otherwise and didn't pull on things they wouldn't pull otherwise. They're earning the same amount of pyros, they're spending the same amount of pyros. Assume everything stays the same, except the gacha system changes. There's going to be a negligible amount of extra revenue as a result. Like you won't even be able to measure it really.
Yeah, you would
The
get
benefits of the current system are purely that people don't feel bad when things don't go their way.
You will make more money from whales, but I would imagine they would lose it from like super casuals like me that never participated in the in-game modes. Because the deal was with at least when I was playing. Now I don't. No, I did buy Pyro a couple times. But I would buy it because I'd get to like 270 on a banner before I got a character sometimes. And it's like, oh, it's only 30 more pulls to get the other character on the banner because I don't care about in-game mode. I don't need ligmas. Uh so they just won't get that now because pity will have reset. It's like, oh, well, okay. It's not only 30 more pulls at most to get the other character or to get them
Yeah,
in
I
those
mean,
30 pulls
what
and then get some
you're
ligmas.
saying is what everybody is saying. Like that this is about the way people think about their expenditure. This isn't actually about the nitty-gritty of how much money is made by what strategy. So that's why everybody is so bewildered by this, because the amount that Nexon stands to gain is negligible and the amount they stand to lose is immense.
Yeah.
So why change it at all? Like that's why there's so much conspiratorial thinking about it, because the change doesn't make any sense. It seems like it has to be part of some greater strategy. But, then again, maybe not. We don't really know. So yeah. But there's not much buy-in from any one of the national communities. Probably like the Indonesians are poor, so they probably won't adopt it. The Japanese are salty about it, but they're the most likely to stay. The Koreans have so many options that they may or may not participate. The Chinese players will probably just drop it and move on to something else because they really, really don't like when they get snubbed by a company. So the English speaking audience are all outraged because they're hypersensitive to this type of thing. Because of all of this time spent dealing with companies like EA, basically. But yeah, so yeah, there's not the participation rates are dropping precipitously, and the decision to do this must have come from way high up, because historically, when Nexon have made bad Blue Archive decisions, they have wasted no time in reversing them when they got a backlash like this. But this time they didn't do anything. They released a non-apology and said, "Oh well, we'll give you some bonus pulls," which is really, that's not their style at all. Their style has always been, okay, no, we'll backpedal and rethink this, because if it's received as badly as this, it means we've made a miscalculation somewhere. We need to work out why and recalibrate. But they aren't recalibrating this time. They're just bullying their way forward without any additional thought. It's totally uncharacteristic compared to normal. So yeah, everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, if the interest drop off has been equivalent for the normal person as it has been for the people that make content for the game, this gotcha change could just come back as, why did you do this? And whoever implemented it, probably the EA guy, will get a nice long chewing out and fired, and that would be nice. That's the optimistic outcome. But yeah, hopefully the players can stick to their guns on it and just not spend money on it, because that's the only thing that's really going to send a message when a company's not budging from outrage.
Yeah, well, the thing is that if they had done this before a climax, then they might have been able to bull through it by FOMO or something. But the fact is that part one is just finished. Like the big for all of the global servers, the big event has just come to its conclusion. The main story arc that was still running has come to its conclusion. People aren't waiting on a cliffhanger. So this was like the exact worst time that you could make a precipitous decision like this, which just makes it even more puzzling. Because strategically, it's nonsense. Like, you would want to launch this at a time where people couldn't bear to stop playing, right? So that they would just push through regardless. But they did the opposite. They announced it immediately after Global had just finished the main plot line and were awaiting part 2.
I just had a thunk. Fern probably doesn't have a dire ducking clue what we're talking about.
Not particularly, no. I know it's the game about the waifus.
So, well, that's all the gacha games, but
Yes.
all the ones we play anyway. So Blue Archive had a gacha system, Fern, that was very it was Pinecones. It was the Cygames model, called the Spark system. Now everybody likes the Spark system. So what the Spark system is as you pull on the banner, you build up points on that banner. And once you get 200 points by doing 200 pulls, you can just spark any of the rate-up characters and get a copy of them. So you can pick the one you want and just get it. This worked out great because
the new HoloLive gacha actually uses that as well.
Yeah. So the reason people like this system, because, if you do the raw math on it, it doesn't actually do you much better or worse than the 50-50 system in Genshin if you just look at the spreadsheets. But the reason people...
Provided that you are not that unlucky.
Yeah. Like, the reason...
But in terms of law of large numbers, it does.
Yeah. The reason people like it, though, is because it does feel really good when you get a character and your pity isn't reset for that banner. You can just keep going to Spark to get either another copy of that character or get the other character on rate up. It just it associates a fixed cost with it, so that you understand what you're doing, and it's very easy to calc out purchases and do saving for stuff, and you can get lucky. Like, if you really want to take a character to in-game, let's say you're an in-game player, you get a copy of them at like pull 30, maybe you get another one at pull 170. Okay, you can max out that character functionally for Blue Archive with another copy by sparking it and not have to worry about it. Or if you just want the other character to have them, you can just get it. So people like the Spark system. It's a good system that, while not saving you much more than a normal gacha system for the casual player, or any at all, it feels good. People like it. And they have changed it because the EA executive came into Nexon and started handling stuff. Presumably, we don't know the official reason, I don't think, but this is the only thing that makes any sense. The same one that said, if you don't like it, don't play it for Battlefield, and almost killed
that guy.
Yeah. And they have implemented a 50-50 system with a 100 pull limit before the 50-50 before the hard pity kicks in. And it's just like the Hoyo games, where you pull the first SSR you get at 100 pulls, you're guaranteed to get an SSR. You get
it's got the vibe to it, like basically some exec comes in from outside and says, look how much money Genshin is making, we should use their monetization strategy. And they're like, but boss, we've got this particular... No, we're using their strategy because they're making lots of money.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So the Blue Archive communities are across the world are outraged in various different flavors, but nobody is happy. Especially the casual players.
Nobody likes to be ripped off, especially after the old system is so generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's being regarded, generally speaking, as a strict downgrade, and depending on the way you do the numbers, it may or may not be a strict downgrade. But in terms of the psychological factor and what you can do and what you can plan for, and the way your runs of luck and your runs of losses, basically the thing is, it turns a run of bad luck, unless you have the worst possible luck and you want both characters on the banner badly, pretty much it erases runs of bad luck by enabling you to get a double sort of thing. So all of the people with good luck, they always have good luck anyway, so they won't care. The people with extremely bad luck are going to have extremely, extremely bad luck. And the people who have anywhere in the middle, like the middle 98% of the population, all like it better because the pain of a bad run of luck is lessened quite a lot. So yeah, it's being viewed extremely negatively, and the thing to remember about Blue Archive, it is the single most popular anime style property in Japan, and this is measured typically by Comiket participation. It, as an IP, has more representation than anything else, and it's not close. Like, it's passed by Toho and Kantai Collection and Uma Musume and all of the competitors, pretty much. So,
The power of Asuna and Karin's boobies is just too strong.
well, I mean, it's not really about the power of boobies. It's more about the variety of boobies. Like, they've got every kind of boobies imaginable.
That is true.
They have boobies for every taste. Whereas
So,
Uma Musume is about weird horse girls.
Well,
yeah.
Uma Musume.
But they also have a variety of boobies, so yeah.
Well, Uma Musume is what you get when side games. It's like, what if Idolmaster and horse racing?
In horse racing, yes. Also, again with that Hololive gacha, some of the 5-star art for characters, yeah, they've got a gacha character professional on their team. You can say that.
Oh yeah, they love their underboob.
Oh, they are their underboob and their squeeze boob.
Yeah, I've seen
A few characters are really egregious, and yet somehow Matsuri had the art that needed censoring. I don't know how that happened.
She's like, she's like the. Basically, Marine doesn't have anything on Matsuri.
No,
In terms of being perverse is concerned.
Yeah, you've got art for Callie is really bad and Arissa are both really bad, where they are bursting.
Have you seen Swimsuit Noelle?
Swimsuit Noelle gets censored on YouTube.
Yeah, she gets auto censored on Twitter.
Yeah, and a few other things. Swimsuit for WoW was pretty bad as well. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, they know exactly who they're selling to.
I have not looked at it very much, but I have seen clips going around of Bibu's pull streams. That'll start autoplaying, and Bibu's just got like .png literal gigantic oranges attached to her chest while she's playing.
Yes, because everyone's saying that all the characters are chibi except for Bibu.
Who is just Bibu.
Who's just Bibu. She looks the same. But, I mean, the game looks all right and looks fairly generous on the gacha, I suppose. It's a rhythm game, though, so it's not really... I'm terrible at rhythm games.
Yeah, if it uses the Spark system, it's probably Ape and Idolmaster. They, just, before side games started going more and more corpo, they just had all this stuff figured out, and any game that copied it won points in my book. They're not nearly as generous as they used to be now, but they
yeah, the thing that's characteristic about the 50/50 is that it leans way harder on that FOMO psychology, right? The gambler psychology is exploited much more. Even though the outcomes might be similar, the player behavior can change as a result. The only thing that is going to prevent Nexon from benefiting from it really is the fact that people were already primed to expect a certain thing and they haven't respected that.
Yeah, it takes something that's easily calculable in your head as a cost, and makes it a true gamble with the 50/50 system, with a much harder to calculate cost for each character. Because you can plan easily for the worst case scenario in Blue Archive with a Spark system, but you can't do that with a 50/50 system. It's way harder to math that out. Especially for the casual person that just is going on vibes for whether they want to pull characters or not. Not currently use bike function. Why? There we go.
Because
Probably
quest
over
probably.
top of a tacit field or something.
Oh.
Oh, right. This is the last one is underground. I always get stuck on this one. I can't remember how to get down there though.
But yeah,
Is that one of the ones that you enter through? No, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Blue Archive is sort of like it's sort of gone into abeyance in some sense. It's sort of hard to tell what's going to happen there. Oh, did I just lock myself in here? Oh, I did. How about we just don't do that now?
did you go into the tacit field?
No. I'm trying to find my way through to that monster that is currently being tracked on the map for me around the area that you're currently in, but I'm trying to remember how you get down to that layer. I think it's through the
No.
I think it's through here, but I could be wrong. I think these regions are probably reset because we're in multiplayer.
Yeah,
We'll have to see.
it's also a very vertical area.
Oh yeah. Unable to interact.
I mean, well,
Anyway,
try to push it, but I don't think it'll work.
No, it's unable to interact because it's co-op mode. So,
Blue treasure chest.
but yeah, anyway, Genshin is not doing anything this week because this is the last week before the new patch, the Snezhnaya patch. So I did watch the what do you want to call it? The
Preview stream?
preview stream. That's what I was looking for. That's the word I was after. But they didn't really say all that much in a lot of ways. It was definitely a preview stream, but I didn't feel like I came away knowing anything, and I feel like that's probably because most of the content is pretty story oriented, and they can't, say anything without doing a star rail and spoiling the entire plot. But yeah, a lot of stuff that they are deploying is like nakedly cribbed out of other games, which is fine. I don't have any problem with that. I just don't know if it's necessarily what I want to do. Like after spending all of that time putting up pylons in Arknights, that was just an exercise of autism that didn't really feel very rewarding in the end. Maybe if I'd continued to play it, it would have been more rewarding. But it is a very satisfying piece of busy work to do. But I don't know if I wanted to do that in Genshin, which is what it looks like we're going to end up doing. There's lots of zipline stuff.
So many zip lines.
They showed off a lot of their third person shooter mechanics that they're incorporating, but again, it's like, well, I don't know if this is what I signed up for. So even if you execute on it well, that's kind of not what I'm here for. Maybe if they execute it really well, it will be, but I feel like they kind of can't execute on it well because if they did, it would be too hard. And you know what they're like about making things difficult. So yeah, I'm not really sure where the beef is going to be in this one, and I still haven't managed to get caught up with the last patch's stuff. I still haven't explored the moon sufficiently yet. But yeah, so I'm not wanting for content in Genshin right now. I have plenty to do. It's just I don't have time to do it in, because I'm so busy at the moment. But yeah, it is going to be coming out. It does look like they are continuing on the current character design vector, though, which I am really not impressed by. Clearly, there hasn't been enough protest to get them to shy away from this hyper-specific team design approach, which I really don't like the sound of. I feel like they have tempered it a little bit in the sense that, like, optimal off-field DPS is currently, and as of 7.0 will still be Yamiko for Stellar Conduct, and for the Anemo equivalent, it's going to be Mizuki is going to be the optimal. Like they've given them buffs which make them really, really effective and have really resurrected those old characters. They have added a whole pile of Fontaine characters to the earnable constellation thing. Like, they are making gestures towards updating older characters to make them more relevant in some sense, but the fact is that they are still constructing all of their mechanics around the new hotness, and that particular approach is just going to end up being frustrating. Like, lots of people have pretty much disengaged from endgame simply because, you know, the shill is too strong. It's not worth it. Like, there's more and more posts going around of people who just don't bother to clear Spiral Abyss. It's like, well, I used to, but it's not worth it. I could do it, but it's not worth it because of the amount of effort I have to do to actually be successful without, current team. So yeah, they giveth with one hand and they taketh away with the other. So it's basically an exercise in showing up for the story and the exploration and then just leaving the end game alone. It's just not worth it. I haven't set foot in Imaginarium Theatre in forever. Even though, there are Prima Gems in there that are just a gimme, even for that game mode that I hate, but it's not worth it. I detest it too much. And I don't understand how they can justify, after all of this time and all of the hate that gets directed to Imaginarium Theatre, I don't understand how they can continue to justify it in light of the fact that they're building all their characters around mandatory partners in a randomized group game mode. Like, this is so nonsense and incompatible that I just don't understand where they're coming from. But yeah, it is what it is. There's nothing going on in the main right now. Next week we will see Odette come out, who will work with anybody who's currently running whatchamacallit, Stellar Conduct. So technically speaking, I could use her. I may or may not pull on her. Depends on whether I like her in the story or not, I guess. Or if I feel like I even want to play that team. I do like playing Sandrone. Sandrone is a fun character to use, but I don't. She doesn't have a shelf life that Anefa does. Anefa has a very, very long shelf life. Like, if you've got Anefa, you're pretty much set for pretty much all Electro teams, teams that involve Electro in any capacity. But Sandrone is not going to be the same. Sandrone's too dependent on her current numbers continuing to be good numbers. She'll get a little bit of an uplift as more powerful supporters come out for her over the course of 7.x, but I don't think that that's going to keep her relevant the way Anefa is kept relevant by her being able to do literally everything. So, yeah. Anyway, that big Genshin. Star Rail, likewise, doing sweet bugger all, although it doesn't have the convenient excuse of there being nothing coming down the pipe. They just seem to be, committing suicide. That whole game appears to be committing suicide. I don't know why. They were printing money and they've just decided to stop trying. Very strange. I don't understand it. Their sales have cratered compared to the beginning of Plan Arcadia. Like, we're talking, their numbers they're doing are like halved over the past few banners. Even like main push banners like Himiko Nova and that have basically been doing like half as well as Sparksy. And Sparksy wasn't even very pushed. So, and she definitely wasn't very shilled. Like, you didn't need Sparksy when she came out. The same way that, people are really feeling the pinch if they don't have Ash Veil, if they don't have Himiko Nova and that. Like, everybody's feeling the pinch right now, even people with deeply vertical teams like me. Ari knows all about it, song and verse. Don't get him started. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Despite that, she's still not selling. That's the thing. People are not pulling, and it's because people are disengaged, because the developers are not trying, and nobody knows why. It's almost as mysterious as the Blue Archive thing, because they could be trying. They've got the money to do it, unless there's some, weird resource allocation thing going on in the background that's starving them of resources. But yeah, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows why there's no content. Everybody is very confused about it. Nobody is like outright dropping the game because the Fate event was actually solid. and the Slay the Spire thing went down relatively well. Nobody screaming that they liked it, but nobody was screaming that they hated it either, which is a distinct step up from their usual.
Oh, Fern.
Uh,
The last Star Rail event, like the only major event they've had for Planar Arcadia, was just they put in Slay the Spire for the next fate event.
You just play so there. I can't do words.
Yeah,
You just play Spire.
It's Slay the
it's
Spire.
fate themed Slay the Spire.
Yeah, the only differences from normal Slay the Spire are you have a fixed collection of cards to build a deck from and fight opponents with, and you perpetually have Rin with you to act as an energy engine for the deck, so you don't have to worry about that part of the deck. That's always the pain in the butt in Slay the Spire.
I relatively liked it. Like, I mean, it became a little bit onerous toward the end because I'm not very good at the game. I mean, I cleared all of the conditions with 5 affixes, so I did clear the content. But some of those later ones, I don't know if it's just bad or if it really does take ages to clear them, because I took a very long time. I took a very conservative, tanky approach, but it did take a long time to clear those later stages. But maybe that's because I'm a baddie. Maybe there's a real fast way of doing it. But,
you can drop some of them pretty quick with Gil and Archer. With Archer, though, you are rolling the dice.
Oh, well, Archer was the one that I used for tanking with. If I wanted to blow them up quickly, I tried Gil, but Gil was also unstable. A few turns in a row of just bad starting draws and you're toast.
Yeah.
You won't pull out of it. You'll just end up in a downward spiral.
Archer is entirely dependent on pulling his Broken Phantasm card out of the deck. If you cannot fish it out quick enough,
he also has more powerful draw engines than any other character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Gil can draw a lot of cards, but it's not going to do you any good once you run out of energy.
Yeah, the thing I found with Archer is because it's the one card you need, you sometimes have to fish through the whole deck to find it.
Yeah, the thing that I found though is that if you don't find it, you'll basically find enough cards along the way to no-sell the enemies next turn, so it won't matter. Which is why I say that I took a real tanky approach.
I see.
So, because I just loaded the deck up with defensives, so that even if I failed to draw Colored Bulg for multiple turns in a row, I would draw everything else, so it wouldn't matter. I'd be able to patch myself up. So yeah, anyway, but yeah, no, there's nothing going on in Star Rail right now. Everybody's sort of like waiting with bated breath to see how the heck we can make transition from end of Planet Arcadia cliffhanger to the new planet that we're headed off to next, because both things are supposed to happen in the next patch. Which doesn't make sense to anybody. But yeah, the other thing that's given everybody the heebie-jeebies though is the raw power level that the next 2 characters closed out the beta with. Like, they're just both off the charts. If they execute as well in live as they did in beta, based on the testimonies of the people who are doing the testing, the power level of the game just took another shot in the arm and is going to be way higher than what we're accustomed with. Like, people like me who didn't plan to pull either of them are going to be probably not clearing in the next patch if the power levels are suited. Because they have basically made Aventurion the most powerful Elation character in the game, bar none. And they have made Robin the most powerful support in the game, bar none. That's not even close. Like, nobody comes within a country mile. Like, maybe if you had multiple Eidolons on Tribi, you might be able to equal E0, S0 Summer Robin, but still kind of doubtful. And the math
animal friends
that people have been doing for Elation is that, like, you can take the hit for simply removing Sparkle from your team if you have Robin, unless your Sparkle is if your Sparkle is E2 S1, then Sparkle will be better than E0 S0 Robin. If your Robin is E2 S1, then no amount of gear or Eidolons or signature ranks on Sparksy will make her better than Robin, even though Robin's not Elation and will slow down your AHA turns. So the power level has just shot up. All of the like the Aglia diehards are like busy drooling all over their keyboards because they're going to be relevant again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been stuck in the ditch since like 3.2. We're now at
But
like
yeah,
4.4.
as much as she lifts like the power ceiling for lots of teams, the most improved award goes to the Aglia team by a country mile. Like while the Aglia team's not going to suddenly become the best team in the game or anything when Summer Robin comes out, the amount of difference that she adds between where they were and where they will be is bigger than any other team by a long mile. It just basically gives them the power, the like raw punching power that they need in order to be competitive.
Yeah, the big worry whenever they put out a character that's super busted in Star Rail is Star Rail is a completely 3-team in-game metagame with 12 characters total because it's a 4-character team. Like whenever they put out a character that's that powerful in Star Rail, it almost feels if you want to keep participating in the only mode that lets you use characters, you have to pull one because the team restrictions in game are so demanding due to just the raw number of characters you need.
Yeah, and considering all my best teams are being actively counter-shelled next patch, I'm doubtful I'm going to be able to clear AA at all based on the numbers that I've seen of the way it's going to play out. Like they are straight up debuffing Super Break by 50% to prevent people from using Super Break. The speculation is that Hoyo have seen Super Break participation is too high because even though Super Break is a really old archetype and it's like in 12th place in the meta, it's very stable and behaves the same way in every environment.
Yeah.
So once you get your Super Break team to a certain level of power, you can ram it in the slot for any challenge and it will do serviceably. It's never going to zero cycle the way other teams might at the highest level, but it's going to be able to soldier on. And the speculation is that Hoyo aren't happy about that because it will prevent people from investing in future teams. That seems like an irrational thing to be worried about, considering they expanded in game from 2 teams to 3 teams. But yeah, it is what they're looking at now. So yeah, it's going to be rough for me because Super Break is by far my best team by miles and miles, and they're actively reducing its power by 50% for anomaly arbitration, just to make it so that it's hard to participate for people who capitalize on Super Break. But I don't know. That's the worst kind of shill, in my opinion, is when they take a team and deliberately break it to stop people using it. But we'll have to see why they've decided to do that based on the way things shape up when the other characters are added into the mix. Because every team benefits from Summer Robin, I have teams that will benefit from Summer Robin, but I don't really have the resources to pull for her if I want to pull for various other things that I'm looking at. And frankly, I don't really want to open my wallet for Hoyo for Star Rail because they keep making highly questionable decisions that don't make any sense and they aren't willing to explain. So if they want to be that way, then I'll be stubborn as well. Because, frankly, I'm just happy with Woo right now, and Woo can have my money instead, which is why Sui Sui now has the fat bird in her hair. Because I decided I'd get the fat bird for Sui Sui and the fat bird for Yang Yang. So my Yang Yang also has a fat bird.
I will enlighten Fern.
I will get that
Yes.
Yang Yang fat bird.
All of the fat birds.
It seems to just be a thing that if you're a popular character in Woowa, you're going to get a fat animal that sits on your head.
What's PP gonna get? You're gonna get a little. Oh, she'll get one of the blue mermaid echoes to sit on her head.
Maybe. That yeah. So Star Rail is not covering itself with glory right now. They aren't doing anything to pull out of the tailspin. I did really like the Fate event compared to the previous one. It still has a lot of issues, but they didn't play into their weaknesses the way they did last time, which was the thing that made it so bizarre, is that they basically did everything they could to highlight the bad parts last time, whereas this time they just didn't do that, and so it was okay.
Yeah,
They just decided not to be terrible.
Last time was a truly mind-boggling display of incompetence in handling the limitations they had with their crossover.
Yeah, that was so bizarre because it's like normally, like the art in like something like an anime, right? In any given anime, you can see there's an art to covering over the cheapness of mass-produced anime, right? The way people use particular cuts and so on, and close-ups and that sort of thing to minimize the cost. Whereas instead of doing tactics like that to cover over the limitations, they just highlighted all of them. And so it made it look really, really grungy and nasty. It's like, why would you do this? Why would you point out all of the things that are bad about your engine and your presentation method? Don't do that. It's stupid. But they did. But this time they didn't do that. They just executed it the way they would any other side story. And it was perfectly fine. They actually had the opportunity to use physical comedy as well within the limitations of the engine with the now famous blinks furiously scene. But yeah, I mean, they are coasting on the goodwill that they earn from that because people were not particularly happy with how they left off the main story, and people are very confused about how they're going to continue the main story. People are not happy with the current power curve. People are not happy with the amount of content. People are not happy with the majority of the events that they're providing because they're kind of weird, tacky 90s, early 2000s flash games instead of real content. Like, why are they committing suicide like this? They're swimming in cash. They could develop anything they wanted, and they're just not.
Well, there's only two reasons for it. Either Oyo distributes the money of their games lopsidedly and not necessarily in favor of the game that gets it. That's uh, one possibility. The other possibility is the Star Rail actual development team currently, with its current employees, just
Don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they just don't have the chops compared to like the WooWare ZZZ teams.
Well, the thing is, even the Genshin team is acting in a vastly superior way as far as their creativity is concerned. They still have really boneheaded issues, like no overflow resin. Like, why is that still a thing in the year of our Lord 2026?
Are daily limited day of the week things still a thing?
Yeah, that's still a thing. And the stupid thing about it is that at this point, for about 50% of a patch, it's not a thing. Every Sunday plus for like the week or two or so, week and a half or so after the launch of a new character. So like sometimes twice per patch plus Sundays. So you've got like about 2 or 3 weeks worth of a 6-week patch where that's not a limitation at all, but it is the rest of the time because reasons. Like the mind is just like, what? But why? But yeah, so Hoyo's Genshin team do stupid things that make you wonder why. But by and large, they're really moving forward with their engine and with their adventurism, with what they're planning to do, with what tools they have available. Like I said, they keep emphasizing in the current preview their third-person shooter mechanics, which is basically like playing Gears of War inside the Genshin engine for some reason. Like, I don't know who told them people wanted that, but maybe people like it. We'll wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, it's at least they're being adventurous, and Star Rail's just not. They're just not, and there doesn't seem to be a reason for it. Nobody's privy to that. Like I said last show, the cope is that they've just written off this current arc because there was so much government interference during the development process, and they just basically can't really save it, so they don't really want to invest massive quantities of resources in trying to prop up something that was already dead on arrival. But there's no evidence that that's the case. It's just what a lot of people, including myself, would like to have been the case. That it was a temporary thing that will eventually be over because, of course, it has to be. So yeah, it's really not, like I said, it's really not covering itself with glory right now. It's not in a good place, and they've not given any indications that they can pull out of this tailspin. We'll just have to wait and see what they do with the next chapter, whether they pivot or whether it's this whole main numbered version that's going to be stuffed before they have to try and, recalibrate. Because for all of its issues, M4S held together better, just generally speaking. The events were better, albeit only a little. They had more combat events. They had combat events at all. The story was more contiguous, even if it was bloated in places. Like everything about it made sense, and it's sort of like the strangeness of the current thing is that it's so dissimilar to the previous thing. Like it's made by a different team, like the B team, the amateurs team, who don't know what they're doing. But the thing is that in as much as we have information about who's doing the development, they're the same people. It's just doesn't seem to be working. Don't know why. So yeah, mysteries all round as far as that's concerned. I don't want to say much about ZZZ because I haven't had time to do other than the anything more than the mildest dabbling in the new game mode. I liked what I saw of it. It still has certain facets that I found frustrating in the Bangbu version of the event, but I mean, I can live with it. I also don't know what it looks like in the mature form because I've only played like the heavily story-driven tutorial stuff, which is kind of on rails. You don't really have a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it changes later on, but my experience of it from the tutorializing part of it is that you will get dumped in the hollow and you have to proceed all the way to the end. You can't leave early in any means other than actually getting game overed. You have to complete the quest.
So let's take it from the top on this one. Let me open Brave because I actually forgot the name of this stupid new game mode, and I will talk about this. Where is?
I'll have fun doing that because my throat is a bit scratchy. I need to get something to moisten it.
Yeah, because we'll need to actually inform people about what the heck is going on, and because people aren't going to have a clue what we're talking about. Okay. Let's see. What is the name of this freaking game mode? Is it Enigma the Labyrinth? That's the name of the event. Okay, yeah, it's Enigma the Labyrinth Operation Bagel.
That's a name.
It's a plot point why it's named after a bagel, actually. Not a very big one, but it amounts to a joke at the end of one of the cutscenes. The joke is that the hollow is shaped like a bagel. So this new game mode in ZZZ is a open exploration mode. There are 2 maps that are relatively large, but they are fixed maps. And I'm not going to talk about the story mode quests there because they play different than the regular exploration. I'll just tell you how it works in regular exploration. So you can do this in place of your weekly task for anything else as well. I did not do that this week, but I will next week. Basically what you do, you pick 3 characters and you go into the hollow. You give them basic equipment. Their levels are all reset to 0. And you can't level them up. Instead, you find equipment in the hollow or you craft it and to put that on them, and that determines their level. And there's gear tailored for specific roles, generic ones, and ones tailored specifically to the character that are expensive and much further down the tree, the upgrade tree. So you equip a loadout. You can take items into the hollow. You craft or find these. These are things like healing potions or useful activatables like combat stuff or a stealth item to sneak past stuff or something to loot stuff very quickly. Because when you load into the hollow, you are put on a 25-minute timer. 20 or 25, I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it's 25.
Yeah. And you go in with your team. Now this is not the structured arena combat that most of the rest of ZZZ is. So some things get a little can be a little clunkier, and finding out what characters make for a good team in there is half the fun. You go through, and your objective is to acquire as much valuable material as you can without dying. Because the more junk you find, the lower your max HP is going to get, because you will have to accrue corruption to open the really valuable chests, or go into corrupted areas that will passively increase it the longer you stay inside them, or just taking a hit from anything will increase your corruption level. And the amount of
I
corruption
was
you get.
actually surprised at how engaging it was, simply because for the first time in forever, I'm actually in danger of dying.
Yeah. So you're weighing the cost benefit analysis here, because the more stuff you find in the hollow and the more raw value worth of stuff you pull out, the more bonus loot you get at the end. You get rolls for bonus valuables at the end that get you even more money. So you want to get out with as much as you can, but staying in there until the timer's up. You're going to have every one of your characters be one shot, and the only exits that are going to be left are going to be combat exits, because there's there's 3 types of exits. If you want to pull out earliest, the most valuable way to get out is to find a boss fight. There's one on each map, I think. And you go fight one of the story mode fights, and it's really tanky and has a lot of HP, but you get decent loot from it. And these are available most of the time. I think they're always available as an exit, but if you want go do them, with 5 minutes left, you'll probably have the time to kill it, but you're going to be one shot the whole time with a boss that has a brand new moveset. Good luck with that you don't know. So not the optimal option, at least right now. You can pay a bang boo in gear coins, which you get by defeating enemies, and sometimes in treasure chests you can find raw gear coins. Gear coins being your overall currency. Any unspent gear coins get put into your stash and treated as just currency you can spend outside of it. So you can pay a bang boo to leave, but most of the paid exits turn off at 10 minutes, with 10 minutes remaining. And the other one is just the other one is defeat an elite enemy. Most of these are open until like 2 minutes are left on the clock, and they reduce in number as the timer ticks down. They start disappearing at 10 minutes, I think, and they eventually go down to there's only like 1 or 2 left at the end that you can take this route. So it's just a regular elite enemy that you fought before, and you can kill it and talk to the pillar behind it and wait 3 seconds, and it'll teleport you out as long as you don't get in combat. So that's the basics of the gameplay loop, but there's a big catch on the gameplay. In addition to the corruption, you have an invincible ethereal chasing you. It's not always active, but when you pick up, the more valuable stuff you pick up, the more likely it is to trigger this thing's chase sequence. And the higher value you have in your stash when you open up something, and the more valuable the junk in the thing you're opening, the bigger the chance it is for this guy to pop up. Now, he can pop up just from picking up a random single drop from a random mook you kill in the overworld, if the junk in your inventory is high enough. He can do that, but he is much more likely to pop up when you're grabbing valuable stuff with a lot of stuff in your bag. And he will chase you, and your only options are to run away and abandon the current area you're in, or you have to stop, and you can't fight him. You have to parry him 3 times and do as much damage as you can in between the parries to remove his barrier, at which point he will retreat and run away and go on cooldown for about a minute or 2 before he can show back up again. I have not seen him pop up back to back, so in the bit of experimentation I've done, that appears to be the case, but I don't know if that's the actual case.
And he is an angry dog.
Yeah, he's a very angry dog. His attacks are consistent. He only has three patterns he can do, and they're all 3 hit patterns. So it's dodge, dodge, parry. And after the parry, if you try to damage him outside of a parry, you have about an 80% chance for your attack just to whiff. And it just won't hit. So you can only damage him after he's parried to get the shield down a bit more, and the primary way you're going to drain it is by doing the parry itself. Like a miasma shield. And once you get his shield gone, he F's off for a bit and you can continue looting. And you need to play a balancing act the whole time you're going through the hollow. Oh, okay, what's my maximum HP currently at? Because it's not your HP just drained as you go through and you need to heal. No. It reduces your max HP.
And eventually you spend a lot of time in the one-shot zone.
Yeah, and if you tab out of the game at an inconvenient time and you thought you were safe, and a mook comes around and just shoots, that's how you lose Jane and Valina. And Remiel's standing there with nothing to do because she's Remiel with no partners.
Not the most useful character.
Her personal gear does help that, but it's still not great. So yeah, that's the gameplay loop. You go in and you try to get out with as much value stuff as possible and valuable loot, and successfully extract without dying. And it's a very simple gameplay loop. The 2 maps you're allowed to do are broken into 3 chunks each, I think, that you can freely move between when you pick a map. And there is no fast travel in these, and you will be dumped at random position on the maps.
It's fast travel, and it's called using the bird.
Yeah, there's
Bird.
you the fast travel is you play chicken wing ladies, either the black inky chicken wing lady from 2.0 or the white booby chicken wing lady, even more booby chicken wing lady.
You could use your Shungus. She can fly too.
Yeah, that is your third option. You can surf on you can sit surf on the sword case. Or I guess you could use Miyabi
doesn't
too.
have boobies.
Yeah, Chungus has boobies. They're just not as booby as Remiel and Shifu. Or you could use Miyabi. I guess she has a permadash. So any of the Void Hunters will let you move faster, and this little cute, quirky trait that didn't serve a whole lot of purpose before, all of a sudden has a whole lot of value.
Yeah, I keep getting. I've like I said, I've only done like the early story mission ones, but I kept getting distracted poking around in corners and stuff to see if there was anything there, and I ended up running very, 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 very low on time for the actual mission several times. And were it not for my ability to fly around, because I always play Shifu, I would have probably timed out on the mission.
Yeah, I was. Remy actually goes too fast. And
yeah, I found that with Remiel that she moves just too fast.
Yeah, you'll wind up crashing into walls a lot. But Shifu and Miyabi are relatively good in speed, and I presume Yachungus is too. I got a set of gear for her team, but I have not taken it into the hollow yet. I mostly used the Jane team and the Miss Hiss team. But because it's new content, it is very easy to get into the just one more run. I can get a better score than that. Oh, I can unlock some more stuff if I just get a few more good
wonders
coins.
For your ability to do your job in the morning.
Oh, that was awful. Yeah. So the night this mode came out, I was interested in the mode, but wasn't really excited for it. I didn't expect it to capture me as much as it did. And the night it came out, I just sat there and got stuck in one more run mode.
It is a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, like there's some. I can get some more nice upgrades. I can upgrade the shop. I can upgrade the research and development side of the base. Oh, I can get enough gear coins to make Jane's signature gear, her baby tier version. Like, and it's just one more run to get that. That'll be nice. That'll be nice to have. And it just thankfully the signature gears have 10 durability on them, because all the gear you have isn't permanent. You have to make copies of it. But when you get to the higher tier stuff, it gets more and more durability, and backpacks have infinite durability. So any backpack upgrades you craft are permanent. Well, I say that. You'll still want one backup of whatever your current tier of backpack is, because if you die in the hollow, like you TPK and wipe, your backpack is destroyed.
Fantastic.
So you will want to carry a backup with you, so when you go back to... Now, you can go get your stuff from the last run, but you're going to need a backpack the same size to go pick it all up and take it home. Because you more than likely died near the end with a full backpack, because that's when your health's the lowest. So keeping, as soon as you can make a backpack tier, making a second one of those backpacks is a good idea, just in case you decide to push it and get out over your skis. And yeah, there are mini bosses and mooks all over the Hollow to murder. You have a special, you can call Pyrois to do out of combat sneak attacks, and eventually you can unlock rail grinding in the Hollow. I have no idea how this works. That's pretty deep in the R&D tree. I haven't got there yet. And requires you to get materials from corrupted areas. There is only one item I've found with a diamond icon next to its name that you don't want to sell. Uh,
Oh.
and that
I'm just selling them to get coins.
it is not available until
Oh, good.
the second to last difficulty, when corrupted areas start appearing, where sections of the map will be marked as with a green haze. You go in there anytime you open a loot chest. You'll also get these little, they're purple tier eyeball looking looks like something, a cross between an eyeball and a dream catcher, like a Native American dream catcher. And I forget what they're called. But you need them to unlock a few of the upgrades in the R&D tree. They're the only thing I've seen with the diamond icon next to it that you need to keep. Everything else is sellable, and going to be the way you make the vast majority of your money. That, and when you've got 50 million green healing potions that you just don't need anymore. So yeah, the game mode is there's a lot of progression in that mode. Just getting the funds to unlock the blueprints for character specific gears, and upgrading all the stations to be able to craft higher and higher tiers of stuff to take into the hollow. All the upgrades feel, meaningful. When you get, the level 50 baby character gears, that's a huge upgrade. It makes things go way, way better, and usually unlocks. I haven't noticed any of the really wacky ones yet, but there's no reason they can't add them later. They usually unlock one of the high impact gears for that character from Hollow Zero as a bonus effect. Remiel's one, for instance, makes it so when she uses her EX special attack, she instantly gets 3 pips and can do her press and hold heavy attack. So she's not totally gimp if she gets stuck on her own. I mean, it's not great. She's only doing the Luminize and not the combo it gets when it's paired with something else, but it makes her, not stuck if poor Valina and Jane get murdered. But yeah, they seem to have the on archetype preferred effects, but none of the wacky ones yet, like Astra's Laser Beam. I would love them to add Astra's Laser Beam. But we'll see. There's a lot of room for them to expand it, because these are just gears that you get the blueprint for. You buy it for like 300,000 gear coins, which is not cheap, but it's not expensive either once you get to the second highest difficulty level. So it's not nothing, but it's not going to break the bank to grab a blueprint every other run to be able to craft those, and they cost like 100,000, 200,000 in mats to craft, something like that, and they last for 10 runs. So yeah, yeah, it's a very fun and addicting little game mode that lets you just run around and play the game with whatever you want, and your gear doesn't matter. Your drive disc and your levels don't matter. Your skill levels and your Wingen do. You keep your W engine, so if you have their signature W engine, that'll be a huge boost in this game mode, and any Mindscapes as well. Although Jane's is bugged right now, in this mode, I noticed, where she just her extra pips of her satchel jump, just one of them can turn off randomly.
I see.
And you just don't get the second charge. But yeah, I enjoyed this little pseudo roguelike game mode. I'm more forgiving to roguelike style mechanics and with high randomization when the map is consistent. Because while the treasure chests may be random and you have to look at the map and plan a route, and the events will be different because there are events that can spawn that have a time limit that often require you to leg it across the entire map dodging enemies. Or the baby events will spawn around that usually require you to just go a few feet in one direction and murder some stuff for some raw gear coins. Planning your route according to these changes every time. The map itself remains the same, so you can learn the layouts of these maps and know what you're doing when you go in. And
enemies leash?
Yes, they do leash. Some of them take quite a while to leash, but they all do leash. The Hound may or may not leash. Sometimes I've got him stuck, and he just can't get to me for whatever reason. Sometimes he decides he's fed up with that, and when you open another chest after he's been stuck, he'll just teleport to you. So
Surprise!
I don't know what the rules are on that because I'm doing this all by self-experimentation and I haven't looked up any guides.
Are there any guides? Like, it seems kind of early for
Yeah, I don't
there
know.
to be guides for a system this broad.
I don't know, but it's a Hoyo Gacha game, so you know the TISM is definitely there if people were so motivated. Yeah, I enjoy the new game mode. It's a full game mode where you can just play the characters and not worry about how much you farmed them or anything, and just go have fun. I mean, your mindscapes still matter, your Winjin still matters, but you don't have to mold over drive discs and worry about that being the limiting factor or the level if you're under leveled and you're still getting started with the game. It's just fun. And the story for it is not particularly deep, but it's relatively isolated, so it's not going to spoil anything for you. It is tangentially tied into what's going on in the main story right now, but the events themselves are not going to spoil Rose Califer. Other than Pyrois exists. Though I did play it for a very long time that night, so some of the story may not be as fresh as I'd like it to be. I was very tired by the end. But yeah, it ate me for like 8 hours. I was just replaying this mode, trying to see how much more stuff I can unlock. And I kept delaying progressing the main story because I'd be like, yeah, but I can unlock this other thing if I just do a few more runs first. I mean, it would be faster to unlock it after progressing the main story, and I have the gear to do the main story right now. But I really want to see what Valina's gear does. So we get stuck in that loop. Yeah, new game mode, a lot of fun. It's what these Hoyo games need. It's just more places to play your characters.
Yeah. So that basically this has always been the core problem with ZZZ has been its very closeted nature. Like every game mode has very tight borders around it. Even the exploratory modes, they made them a little bit too exhaustible. But this is pretty much the solution to that problem if they keep developing it.
Yeah, and it will always be able to reward you because the gear coins that you get in there can be turned into various useful items like, you know, the battery creators or, you know, stuff you would get from Hollow Zero, basically. And they seem to be on a separate shop as well if you really want to do both. And there are weekly points you get when you unlock hard mode. Seasonals, not weeklies, seasonals that will reset every 40 days, I think. And there's 5 pages of them. So enough to get, you know, the permanent upgrades this time, maybe a few other smaller things, but they'll pay out with even more additional rewards. And you get these by just accomplishing seasonal tasks, like use one of the Bangbu equipables like 3 times, or extract with X amount of gear coins or in value, or stuff like that. I did also encounter one other bug. There is a quest with a random member from Section 6 who tells you to go find a PC. There's a ton of side quests in this thing, too, that just open up as you progress. And for all the other side quests that pop up like this, when you find the quest item and turn in the quest, the quest item disappears from your inventory. This one didn't, so I was permanently down 1 inventory slot, and it was just stuck there. And I think what happened was, I think that run I died on my way out. I think that was the one I got murdered on. And when I went to go retrieve my junk, I retrieved an extra copy that didn't turn in. So hopefully they patched that. Yeah. Good game mode. Lots easy to bolt on new content to it, to open up stuff for new characters, to make new maps for it. They are smart with their asset use here, and that it is all technically areas that are part of civilized society that you've been to before. Like the one area is a mix of the beach from Wi-Fi and the outskirts of, or where the Sons of Caledon live. It's very, very odd.
But I like the way that they've done it though. Like there are certain things that have been altered or extended, like buildings that you previously couldn't go into, you can go into now and see what's inside them. Buildings that you're familiar with, they do have contents, but they're radically unfamiliar contents, as though this is like from another time. Like, oh, previously, like when you visit Random Play, for instance, it doesn't look like Random Play inside. It looks like maybe what the previous occupant knew to be the previous set of occupants had in there that was known by the person on whose memories this particular version of Random Play is based, for instance.
Yeah. So they're real smart with it. It allows them to do some asset flipping to save time and make it a bit cheaper, but still keep it fresh without being a total asset reuse. Very much in the way Yakuza does. So yeah, that's the new ZZZ game mode. I haven't finished the story yet, so I don't have much more to say.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to really spend a lot of time with it. I've got to juggle away a bunch of the in-game stuff that I have that's expiring on various of the gacha that I'm playing. So I was like, I don't want to get captured by this just yet because I've got other things that I'm trying to do in various other games. So if I bunker down and start playing it, I might not get out in a timely fashion.
Yeah, it's each run is a full 25 minutes if you try to maximize it, like and it's just one more runner. That's a lot of stuff to unlock too.
So that's the current focus in ZZZ. That's where a lot of the content currently is. I haven't actually gone through and cleared out any of the areas from the story yet. I don't think there was a huge amount of extra content there, but there is some bits and pieces to clean up that I haven't looked at yet. But yeah, I've managed to climb back over 60k polychrome, so I am ready for Best Girl Claret to appear on the banner. So I can get my ZZZ brand Rin Tosaka. But yeah.
I need my autism Uma. Need her. Depending on how bad the pulls for that go, may not be able to pull on the other blondes this on release. I may have to wait a bit.
I honestly Claret's kit doesn't look particularly interesting. It could be that a supporter will make it become interesting, but it looks a bit rudimentary, I guess. Like it honestly, it looks in practice, it's not going to be that different from Sanbi's kit. It's going to have different stats driving a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't really seem like there's that much that's special to it for it being a new role. So yeah, that's a bit odd. Not really sure exactly how that plays out in practice, but it's a Rin, so I will get the Rin. As far as the free character, in the end, I got a Mindscape for Goat. I was like, I couldn't basically justify getting Jane for the sake of getting a new character when she would be, 2 Mindscapes away from modern relevance. I mean, there's a route exists, but that route is not particularly short, nor is it under control, nor do I want to walk it, because in a lot of cases that basically means failing a bunch of 50-50s, and I'd rather not.
That means a very amazing grace at some point, is what that means.
Yeah. So yeah, I got another Mindscape for Goat, and then I was like, there's not really a great uplift on any of the W engines that I want, so I'll just get Goat a W engine as well, since I play Goat all the time. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing as far as that's concerned. I still haven't gone all in on the purchasing event, but Vivian is staring at me, so I probably will end up folding in the end. I mean, if my money generates more game modes like this new Hollow Exploration mode, well, then it's money well spent. supporting the game because they're actually doing something useful with it, unlike Star Rail, which is either being robbed blind by headquarters or are just too incompetent to spend efficiently, one or the other. But yeah,
Oh, there is one more thing as easy you got to experience by proxy. You didn't do it yourself though. Well, I think you attempted it once.
oh yeah, I did like I did like a little tiny bit of it. I did one go. I got like, I don't know, some paltry amount of points, like 1,300 or something, 13,000 or something.
Enough for the initial big chunk of the cosmetic currency.
I got the first rank.
Yeah.
I only took one attempt at it though, and it was a pretty bad attempt, like, because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was very confused a lot of the time.
You got to
But
watch me mauled the crap out of it though.
yeah, but the reality is, I was watching you do it made me very demotivated to participate because you're like neck deep in Mindscapes and you have an R5W engine on your best character. You're the one that you're most practiced with, and you still had to mold all evening just to scrape in.
Yeah.
And I do not have vertical investment in anybody, let alone the skill to deploy it. So it's just like, well, basically all this is telling me is that it's well above my level, and even if I was as good as you, I don't have Mindscape, so I wouldn't be able to do it. So yeah, it's not practical for me to aim high on that one. I would need to spend a lot of time practicing a lot of like the more niche techs for some of the comps that I know relatively well in order to do it. And I can't even get S pluses on Shiyu defense, so I'm not really that interested in molding over this.
It was a very good exercise in figuring out stuff tangibly that you may be able to read in the guide, but I don't read guides. Stuff like, when to deploy Valina's tornado for maximum damage.
I still don't even know how to deploy her tornado, let alone when.
Yeah.
But half the time it doesn't even come out for me.
Yeah.
I can only get the X special one to come out reliably. The basic one I can't get to come out at all most of the time.
Yeah, I just kind of keep the button held. She animation locks hard, and whatever she's at the end of, it will come out, but it'll sometimes take a while. But knowing when to hold it and learning where Remiel's damage is actually in her kit, her press and hold heavy attack, while substantial, is not as valuable as a Jane and Valina ultimate, and it eats a lot of animation time. So if you got a stun window, to swap it, stuff like that, and just raw execution with that team was practiced.
Yeah, I know that there are people who have the execution who can do it with probably freaking 4-star Billy, but
There's somebody
I'm not one of those
trying
people.
it.
I'm not one of those people. I don't really want to invest the time required to become one of those people, and I can't just chitty face my way there with Mindscapes to make up for that deficit in autism. So it's probably just not worth my time even trying.
I am one of those autistic people, and I am glad that they have included a mode like this, and I am glad they have made the rewards.
You're not one of those autistic mode people though, because you used Mindscapes to get there.
Well, I'm one of those autistic mode people that will continue to mold it on future ones, even when not there. Not with Billy, but we will find a way to get there, even when it's not on one tailored for my particular team. But I'm glad they made it that it's just cosmetics. There's literally nothing here.
I would have been livid if they made something that for 99% of the player base requires Mindscapes to do. If they were rewarding like account development resources for it, that would have been a real bad move in my opinion.
Yeah. But as it is right now, it's just a bonus at the end of every Deadly Assault cycle that you can do if you want to. Pigeons are everywhere.
They're not on my screen.
Oh, they're flying away as I move. Okay. The pigeons react to my movement on my screen.
But
we are very glowy.
But yeah, anyway.
Our hair intakes are off the charts.
That is that anyway. For Woo, as far as in-game Woo stuff, there is not a huge amount going on right now since it's Lolo campaign time again. I did take my first crack at Virtual Crisis this afternoon and got absolutely sodomized by Hyvatia, who is not a nice robot lady at all. But I got all of the asteroids, so I think it's probably a little bit doubtful that I'll spend a huge amount of time molding to get other rewards, because holy crap, I got bullied decisively. But yeah, I muscled my way through there. I still like, and as much as everybody keeps saying that Reactor Husk is super easy, I still had more trouble with Reactor Husk than most of the others, because I just find everything that he does hard to read. Even if though nominally it's not, it's like he just sort of flails around, and I'm like, well, the behaviors of all of the other bosses are all very precise, so based on their gestures you can work out what they're going to do, but Reactor Husk just acts like a big angry monkey, and I don't like fighting him. But yeah. I don't think that I'm going to progress any further than the hard mode. It's just like I tried it out to see what would happen. I just cranked it all the way up to maximum just to see what it was like, and I got swatted out of the air pretty quickly. It didn't take very much. But yeah. Anyway, I think that for people who really relish the combat challenges, it's probably pretty good, but you pretty much have to play touchless at that hard difficulty if you want to get through it, and somehow also maintain a tight rotation while taking all of the damage ever, while avoiding all of the damage ever, and everything does damage. And also somehow remembering how to do Hyvatia's mechanics, which I didn't. I managed to clear it on accident because I don't know what I did to avoid getting power bombed out of existence, but I did somehow. Took no damage. Not sure how that all works. Did you ever conclude that you definitely knew how it worked?
No.
No. So I sat through a lot of your attempts, but
We got it by accident. Took the W.
watching you do it, I didn't understand what you were doing that was successful. When I cleared the one that I cleared Hyvatia, I just cleared her by tune breaking her every time I suspected that she was about to do that. I couldn't fight. I couldn't face it. Did not know what to do, so I would just hold the tune break until I thought she was going to do it, and then I'd punt her. But yeah, I've had enough of that for one day, I think. Right. The other thing, of course, was that it was the preview stream this week for the new version for 3.6. So all of the usual stuff is covered. New resonators, Qingxiao and Jingran. Qingxiao was always going to pull on. She's pretty sword lady. Basically because I need any arrow at all. I don't have any, which is starting to become quite a burden. I don't just want to keep building fire teams over and over again or anything like that.
No,
Seems like a poor decision.
You pick 3 elements and monofocus on those. That's the way. And then anytime 2 of them are counter shield and whimpering waste, you cry.
Yeah, let's not do that.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not been having much luck with Yang Yang's team. Like on paper, I've got Yang Yang's premium team on paper, and on paper it is the most powerful team in the meta. But in execution, I just can't seem to quite get it right, and I always end up flubbing it somehow. It's kind of atypical compared to other teams. It depends relatively heavy on a judicious use of dodging while also maintaining quite tight windows, and it's a little bit atypical in the way you sort of like slide dynamically back and forth between the 2 different sword stances for Yang Yang. So I basically just need more practice with her. That's the long and short of it. But I haven't been able to get performance out of her the way I get performance out of Hiyuki, who I'm much more comfortable playing. But yeah, so I'll pull Qingxiao as well and see how well I mesh with her gameplay, because I really do need to have like 2 like really decisively good built DPS characters that I practice to the point that I can actually use them competently, cycle over cycle in end game. So at least I've got 2 that I can use, and then I'll just shore up the rest of it with the best that I can manage. And I'm hoping Qingsha will be the other one because I like her. She's pretty. And Jingran, of course, is your penis haver, I guess. Edgy boy.
Speaking of Star Rail
your token.
problems, there's too many penises in that game right now. Tangent over.
That is kind of a thing. There is more gender balance in the Star Rail community, the Star Rail player base, than there is in the Wuwa one. But the Wuwa team appear to have found their formula is we will make exactly 2 male characters per year, and we will absolutely go to town on their animations so that the people who want husbandos don't have anything to complain about. So, yeah, Jingran is basically an edgy boy version of Augusta. That uses the shield and HP mechanic, although he pays health for things as well in his kit, the way Dungeon does, although not quite to that extent, and also has a Mr. Tail, I guess. He's got like a contract with some Spirit Links creature that looks a lot like Mr. Tail, and just sort of like hangs around making uses of himself, much in the way Chimera does for Galbrona. Don't think it's as chatty as Galbrona, though. As Galbrona's attendant, though. Which I think everybody would be happy with, not having to hear Chimera talk anymore. Although maybe there are some people who are huge Chimera fans, I guess. That's also a possibility.
I mean, he's got a cool voice, but it just he doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. The main story is returning to the usual mode, which is to have one major chapter and then a segue. So the major chapter is going to be basically the way it was discussed on the preview stream was basically like it's going to be Rover goes through a training arc with the Sword Saint lady and learns to surf because reasons. So being a more traditional type of Sword Saint lady than say Yashungus, she does the conventional riding on a sword powered purely by sheer amount of time moulding over cultivation, as opposed to Yashungus, who cheats and has jet engines on her sword scabbard. But yeah, it was sort of interesting, like considering they are the same archetype functionally in terms of like the role they play in wuxia shansha fiction. It was sort of interesting to see how the differences between Yashungus and Qingsha are expressed, in the sense that when you look at Yashungang's animations, she's clearly just relying on her weapon and flailing around, whereas the way the animations are sort of like designed for Qing Xiao, she projects much more of an impression more like Shifu, that like, well, she just knows how to do all of this stuff. No wasted movement, no wasted energy. She's actually a master of this particular form of combat, of, flinging 1,000 swords through the air, whereas Yashungus is just like flailing swords everywhere because it's all she can do. So it's sort of interesting seeing the same concept expressed in 2 different ways. But yeah, and the segue is going to be focused on Jingran, who we've seen a little bit in the story so far, since he was acting as an informant for Suisi. But yeah, he's pretty much a standard design of edgy boy, where he's like dressed in black, he's got a sort of a cheeky attitude, he has heterochromic eyes, he's got a pet spirit thing, and he's like super edgy and cuts himself to do damage, I guess. So yeah, pretty stock standard, but the husbando fans love this stuff. So yeah, of course they don't spend money on it. Sooner or later somebody's going to realize that, and they'll stop adding husbandos to the game, because as far as Wu is concerned, those banners make no money. In Star Rail, at least they make some money. Not a huge amount, but they make more than they do in Wu. So yeah. So as a brief digression, so in the list of events for the next patch, there's going to be a multiplayer combat event. Though how it's structured, apparently they've run this before, an earlier version of it, but I wasn't playing at that time, so I don't know how it worked. People don't seem to speak very positively of that incarnation of it, but the Woowa very rarely release an event twice that's identical both times. They usually make some renovations before they bring it back. So hopefully there'll be something nice there in multiplayer. I don't know how it all is going to play out. My one criticism for the new Hollow Exploration mode in ZZZ is that it's not multiplayer, when it seems like it would be really easy to make it multiplayer. I don't mean that in a coding sense. I mean that the archetype doesn't prohibit it in any way, the way a lot of other archetypes do.
Yeah.
Gameplay archetypes. It seems like it would just work just fine. And then you could, explore with your friends and get killed with your friends.
Yeah,
Give the shoulder tap of life to your friends that get knocked down.
Yeah, especially after the modes had time to settle and people have done their initial progression and story clears.
My cope is that part of what their plan is to integrate this into the multiplayer.
Yeah. I see no reason to not add a multiplayer mode to it.
It seems like it's sort of like uniquely set up to allow that. And it even has a feel a little bit similar in the way like areas are laid out and that sort of thing. That it feels a little bit similar to the multiplayer stuff that they've demonstrated in the past, and you can, put bosses of the multiplayer game sort in that sort of environment as well, as like, oh, there's really valuable loot on this, but you need a team in order to take it down, type of thing. You could do that. Anyway, back to Woowa. In terms of other events, they're doing another one of those casual events with the where you help them debug their MMO.
Oh dear.
Type of thing, which I thought was funny last time, even if nobody else did. I enjoyed it. They are having your usual freebies over the course of the patch. There's a sort of a music-based one because, well, one of the things that Ching Xiao does is play music. Like, she's basically splits her cultivation between sword work and music, and she decides that she's going to teach, and amongst the training arc for Rover, she decides she's going to teach Rover music. So you have to learn to play as well. You have to learn to play the music thing as well. So there's going to be an event based around you learning to play that instrument that she plays. And there's going to be another combat event of a novel type. I don't think that they've run this one before, but this one is sort of like we're splitting the difference between whatchamacallit, Lament Recon, and the conventional combat, and this one is going to be sort of like more isometric. They only explained it in a relatively loose way, but it seems like you have to play as Rover, but your Rover's skill set is basically modified by stuff inherited from your characters. So you'll like graft some of your character's abilities onto Rover, type of thing, and then it's like the combat plays out and it's sort of like an isometric sort of ARPG style. But they didn't explain much about the fine detail. I think it's much in the way they didn't explain much about the fine detail of Lament Recon either. So it sort of remains to be seen how that all plays out. Not very clear at this stage, but it looks interesting. If nothing else, it will provide more experimental data for them to develop new events, because they seem to like to tool around with all kinds of little bits and pieces. So, what else is on the in-game list? There's going to be accessories again. No more fat birds this time. Much like
For
the
now.
other Ine-san characters that are not named Sui Sui, Ching Xiao's accessory is a hair accessory like it is for Hiyuki. And Jingran, on the other hand, does have a small fat animal. It's a chibi version of his Link spirit that I believe sits on top of his head, because having a fat animal sit on top of your head is just the done thing in Woowa. And of course, there's going to be a new boss to farm, which presumably is going to be the forecast for Qingxiao. It seems relatively interesting. I guess it's going to, like, these things only really come into their own when they appear as a hologram, and then the results vary how nasty they are. Like, some of them are incredibly brutal and some of them are a little bit confusingly not. But yeah, we'll have to see how this one shapes up. Calamity Effigy is what it's called, and it has a pretty wonky looking skill set based on the footage they showed, but they didn't show all that much. So as part of Rover's training arc, Rover will unlock the ability to basically fly around on a sword the way Qingxia does. Although for this, I don't mean it's free flight the way the motorcycle is. It's more like fast travel along rails type of thing between various flying islands that they showed off. It seems like there's like a big fleet of floating buildings sort of thing in the story that you're going to have to cross between, and it seems like the method of doing this is going to be flying around on a sword, basically. They're adding more backgrounds to the Expedition motorbike display room. When it came to the Expedition motorcycle, I was a bit apprehensive about spending money on cosmetics for it. I'm quite happy to spend money on Woowa because Woowa just seems to just trot out banger after banger after banger, and if I'm going to pour money in to get that out, I don't mind so much. But I was a bit apprehensive about the Expedition motorcycle because it didn't seem like there was any guarantee it would continue to exist. But considering they are trotting out more and more stuff for it, like there's new models and new skins, and this time they're adding new like display background themes for the menu. Like, they seem to be still devoting time to augmenting it in ways nobody asked for, as though they really do feel a sense of ownership over it and they want people to like it as well, and that sort of telegraphs that they want it to be at least a somewhat enduring thing. So yeah. Other thing that they're doing is, it seems like, now it's really hard to tell based on the previews, but it seems like they're setting up a sort of like a preview thing so that you can create loadouts of echoes and then use the screen to compare the whole stat line side by side, which seems like it would be pretty handy because I can never remember, like, oh, hold on, if I change this echo into that one, I'm going to lose how much crit rate and gain how much crit damage and lose how much attack and gain how much liberation damage, etc. Whereas this will allow you to just create two loadouts and then has a side-by-side stat comparison for the whole stat layout, which seems like it will be a useful tool when you're trying to work out, like, what does my like overall stat page look like. I think I clipped a picture from the stream for this when I was watching it, so that you can see what I'm describing poorly. But yeah, seems like a handy little augmentation. They also said that they're concluding with 3.6 porting the entire game over to a new programming language, and that with everything cleaned up and aligned on the single language is going to result in quite a bit of performance increases here and there. And they've also are going to finish integrating DLSS 4.5 for people like RSTL who have 5000 series NVIDIA graphics cards. That, 0.5% of the population.
But I can see the green on the mountain.
But yeah, so there's going to be a few little performance things here and there. By 3.6, the game's package size, overall package size, will be down 40 gigabytes from its peak. And once things are all in one programming language, the sort of economizing of things is going to become a lot easier for them. So we'll probably see the size continue to decline and the performance improvements to continue to improve as time goes along. But the project this time was to turf all of the remaining JavaScript out of the game and replace it with I think they're using C# instead for this. Yeah. So yeah, that's the gist. That's the gist of the previews for Woowa. I'm still not finished. Even I haven't come within a country mile of finishing with the content that they've already given us because there's just so much to explore in the Mingzhou region. But I'm very happy with the amount of content that Woowa has been handing out, which just makes Starro look all the worse, TBH.
Yeah, like we talked about how good the Slay the Spire event was relative to the last crossover that HSR did, but man, compared to the Cyberpunk crossover, it
I
just
think that's lifting the bar a bit unfairly high. Like nobody does a crossover as good as that. Doesn't matter who you are. But yeah, I mean the real acid test will be if they can like if they can raise the bar when it's all in house. Like because when they do their HSR ZZZ crossover next year, that's all going to be within Hoyo. They have no excuse for having like workflows that don't make sense or anything like that that impedes development. So if they don't hit it out of the park, it means someone somewhere is being lazy.
yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I've got, I think, on that count.
Yeah,
Alright.
I don't have much to say more on Wuwa other than the banner after the next one has nothing I want to pull on. I don't want to pull on a new character. So I might grab Denny and now. I was considering waiting to see what the banners were like, but yeah, I'm not pulling on anybody on the Icky Boys banner. I already have the ones I want there.
Why would
So
you want Danya though? Like
free
they're
Mornier
basically
and Lene up, so I can run the Lupa version of the Fusion Burst team as a viable team.
you're actually going to go all in on a touchless team.
I mean, if sometimes it'll just work. All I gotta do is not get hit.
Daring, considering. I mean, I'll give Danya this. She does tend to solve deer problems quite effectively because everything she has got an enormous radius on it.
Yeah, and I had to mauled pretty hard this time relative to normal in Whimpering to get the S.
I
Because
haven't attempted it.
I'm so off shill this time. I can take advantage of the baby part of the big buffs up top if I use those, but it's just not worth it. I got to use the purple buffs. And surprisingly, this time the solution to my Whimpering Waste problem comes back to my current issues I've been having with the Cartwheel team, and that it's just better to ignore the support on the Cartwheel team for the first minute and 30 seconds of Whimpering Waste.
I've always been unsure as to what the play is there. Like, is it better to shorten the cycle, or is it better to to hold out until you can launch a proper starting thing? Like this whole one side gets full concerto and the other side gets full resonance thing is kind of I don't really like it. It's very
And
frustrating.
it's not as bad on the ones that get their ult right away, but the other one is always wacky. And I just was like, okay, you know what? Here's the plan. Cartwheel and Chiakona can play with the little things and set up so they can murderize the wave of three, and then we won't pull Shorekeeper or Rover out. It wound up being Shorekeeper in the end until we get the big waves coming, and that was infinitely faster on that side than trying to do a formal team rotation. And they were basically just a 2-woman show for half of that side.
Yeah, I think that since I usually have to run Hiyuki with either Shorekeeper or Mornier, I might have to try that approach for her this time because she's off shill now as well. While Yang Yang Xuanling is still on shill, but kind of needs Chisa in order to work in that team. So Hiyuki's going to be deprived of Chisa because Chisa is just such a popular girl, much like Lene. So I have to try and find some way to make the Hiyuki team work. We're not starting off with that sort of like negative status enhancing base. So I usually end up running Mornier simply because Mornier's got a signature and Shorekeeper doesn't, which is my eternal frustration with Shorekeeper, is that I never got her signature. And I don't know if that's ever going to become available ever again. But yeah, I haven't attempted yet. I haven't even done the current cycle of Tower yet. So yeah, I got to get onto that. It's got a couple weeks left on it, right? Oh no, it doesn't. I need to get onto that. So I only got 8 days, and End State's only got 10. I haven't started either of them. Rah. I'll get onto it. I totally will. I'm never going to end up doing that cinema event, am I? It's just never going to happen. Yeah.
Pigeons.
So we had no emails this time, right?
Yep.
Right. Oh, did you have more week to talk about or not? We
No.
talked about a bunch of stuff, so.
I interjected in y'all's weeks, or it was relevant.
Right, so, news then. What's the haps?
The haps is I've been too busy at work to pay attention to the news and came home and played the ZZ mode one night in Grim Dawn. And have not looked at any news sites.
I suppose the thing that people are jabbering about is the finalisation of the sale of EA and their conversion back to a private corporation. And they're no longer publicly listed. Which means they don't have to report anything about their financials. It also means that, that allows you, that doesn't leave a lot of room to figure out what their vector might be. They also aren't like directly beholden to shareholders, but instead they're directly beholden to the Saudis. So
yeah,
it could go either way. Like they without investor pressure, depending on what type of pressure the Saudis put on, they may be able to make a game that isn't live service for donk monetized for no reason.
I mean, they it's not like they don't want to make money. I mean, the Saudis are loaded, but they still want their investments to turn a profit. But usually their objective is sort of like laundering their public reputation and trying to be more involved in like the broader world economy rather than being focused on the corporate rat race. But I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people sacked because at this usually when you have a total reset like this, you want the company to be sort of like trimmed down a bit, nice and lean before you move on. So I'm expecting all of the studios on dead end projects to be probably shuttered, and probably a lot of dead wood cut out in order to try and make the bills look a bit smaller for the new owner.
Yeah,
everybody's constantly burbling about something Jared Kushner something, but it's like I don't care. Like this is not important at all. That people seem to be forgetting that American presidents only get 2 terms, and terms are only 5 years long. Like you don't do a multi-billion-dollar investment in a games publisher in order to make Jared Kushner look good, so you can be on his good side, because he's not that important to the administration, and he's not going to be around for very much longer as far as a member of sort of like that layer of American governance. So yeah, all the people burbling about that, I think, are backing up the wrong tree. Like the sort of the relationships which are going to endure as far as corporate corruption is concerned are the ones between like the US government and AMD and Nvidia, where they're just like actively pouring huge amounts of money into the American coffers, not just agreeing with Jared Kushner about what would be a good investment.
Yeah, that sounds like typical Twitter-brained politics.
Well, I mean, a lot of people still haven't come to terms with the fact that the Saudis are not Westerners. Like, it's true that there are, you know, things like there are egregious human rights abuses and so on in Saudi Arabia. Well, the thing you've got to remember is that they don't have our concept of human rights. They aren't committing a human rights outrage as far as they're concerned. This is their culture, the culture that all of the people burbling about human rights have enabled. Like the normalization of the of like the most reprehensible false religion on earth as like, oh well, they're just another religion, this is the thinking that is responsible for ongoing human rights violations. Like in an environment where everybody wasn't trying to be outrageously pluralistic, we could have just crusaded them out of existence, and then we wouldn't have to worry about that. But no, everybody's going to be nice, so they can virtue signal about human rights violations in Saudi Arabia. Well, I mean, you're providing them with the opportunity to launder their reputation now, so you know, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about the bleeding heart ideas about things that they basically enabled. But as far as the output is concerned, like EA hasn't done anything good for the world ever, so I'm not
Then,
really that fussed.
not since
I,
probably 1995.
but if they're owned by the Saudis, I'm probably not going to get another CNC Generals.
I mean, poor Command and Conquer. Just, it didn't deserve that. But all the guys that worked on Red Alert 3 went off to eventually become part of the Bastion dudes. Brain farting on their company name. Supergiant, I think.
That's the one.
Yeah. A bunch of that team wound up there.
But yeah, that's sort of like the big thing that's happened, and basically people are mainly talking about it because nobody knows what's going to happen. They could take any old tack with it. Nothing is sort of off the cards at this point, as far as that's concerned. And we won't have any real data on them ever again to some extent because they don't need to tell anybody what their financials are like. They're a private entity now.
And do what they like.
Yeah. If it was a developer or something going private, that would be one thing, or I would be more optimistic. But it's publisher, and I don't know what the Saudis are like with their investments and how much they want them to return that investment. We'll have to
And
see.
at the end of the day, it is also EA. So
Yeah, even if you cut the
yeah,
fat out of EA, if the whole piece of meat is rotted, does cutting off the worst looking bits really solve the problem here?
yeah,
I mean, the only saving grace of EA is they're not Ubisoft.
yeah.
Yeah, and from the perspective of the effects on the industry as a whole, I suppose the thing really is that they don't control anything important. Like all that they do is fund studios. They don't control any gaming platforms. They don't control any distribution platforms because lol. EA Store lol.
Yeah, well, yeah. That exists still, apparently.
So they basically they can't swing the whole industry in any particular direction unless they discover something incredible, some new strategy or whatever in the commercial space, which doesn't seem very likely since the people who are still there are not original thinkers, as we can see by the way their acolytes have behaved at Nexon, which is to simply try and steal an idea from Hoyo and ram a square peg into a round hole. So
The baby toy is falling apart as you try to ram that bag. It does not fit.
My. Why do you do this?
We had stupid tables that had like the shape holes all over the place because my mom taught preschool. and the kids would
Yeah,
actually break those from trying to ram the wrong pegs in in the wrong hole.
that is disturbing.
Are those normally incredibly sturdy?
Yes.
They're supposed to be, but when you're working with the church's preschool budget, you have to make do with whatever you can afford.
Right.
And so I'm just in my head. I got these old boards that I used to see in the storage room at the church that were just destroyed by the preschoolers.
Preschoolers are notoriously hard on furniture. So I don't think there really is anything of particular note at the moment.
Yeah, it's not really a lot of big goings on anymore. We're not in that golden era where there was always something cool to look forward to coming out. Like a couple of shows ago, we did the usual of looking through what was coming out over the course of the rest of the year, and there's basically nothing.
Yeah, like
It's nothing of interest. Just a few remakes here and there.
the whole the like me and Fern are going back and playing Grim Dawn. That game is over a
Well,
decade old now.
Well, it's also, perennially entertaining. I mean, we repeatedly replayed Titan Quest over a similar period of time,
We
and
repeatedly
their sequel
attempted
is
to play Titan Quest.
Well,
the
yeah.
sequel is still like trundling along at glacial pace. I don't know if they've got a release date yet,
No, but they're chipping away in the background.
but I mean, that's a sequel that I might be interested in, maybe. But Titan Quest 1 is pretty good, so
Yeah.
What
I
I've
mean,
it's
played
like,
of Titan Quest 2 so far was fine, but also kind of bare bones at that point.
well, I
yeah,
mean, the thing with a bare bones ARPG is that everybody already has mature ARPGs to play.
Yeah, which is why I stopped
Like
playing it. You just
the
go
thing
away
with
and come back later.
ARPGs is that usually people aren't there to be blown away by the graphics technology or anything like that.
No.
They're there for a satisfying gameplay loop.
they are the
Yes. You
ultimate
have many monster, you have big numbers. That's all you really need.
the ultimate turn on an anime or a podcast and just murder gazillions
Just
of
go.
dudes.
The buttons need to be satisfying to press. That's all you really have to aim for.
Let me shoot my giant magic lasers and spin around like a top and mow down zillions of dudes.
Yes. If they splash, all the better. But yeah, that's really all you got to do with an RPG. You don't need a complex story or anything like that. It just needs to be satisfying.
And it's also a perennially effective co-op proposition for people as well.
Yeah. The
As long as you don't mind seeing having visual noise.
yeah, I mean that's how they are. And the
That's
visual
how they are.
noise isn't a problem so much in ARPGs because the there are very few MMO style mechanics until for any ARPG that doesn't follow the like post Diablo 3 formula. So just don't stand in the yuck and it doesn't matter how much noise there is. Incidentally, in the latest Grim Dawn patch, they you know the little red crystals that some enemies can make that shoot little lasers of chaos damage?
I hate those things. Yes.
They already hit fairly hard. But they accidentally added a physical component to the hit with the
Oh
first.
no.
And as I mentioned before, it's way harder to get physical resistance for both you and enemies in that game. The physical attacks hit way harder with their base values. So players were on hardcore, booted up Fangs of Astrakarn, and because these things were bugs, they would just instant delete their character.
I hope that's hardcore.
No, they were. That's what all the posts were
Oh
about.
no.
There's so many people that are like, I'm gonna do a hardcore playthrough of Fangs of Astrakarn and see how deep I can get. And the first time one of those shows up, they just get whopped.
Oh dear.
Watched a couple rage videos of it happening. It was quite funny. But yeah, it's also we're going back to styles of games that had formulas from over a decade ago. Like Grim Dawn is something that follows the formula of Diablo 2. That formula is 2 decades old, approaching 3 decades old. Like,
I mean, with a few modifications here and there. I mean, is that not what the new ZZZ mode is?
yeah, like it's an evolution of it certainly, but
I mean, it's a closely related cousin, but the fact is that it's about something that people find satisfying to do repeatedly, and that's the point. And people become dissatisfied with a game when they lose that sense of satisfaction from doing repeatedly, and they get distracted by playing something else. This is just the natural cycle of these things, and ARPGs tend to have a lot of sticking power because their focus is making the repetitiveness not feel repetitive.
yeah, and at least for us really really old people now, the fact that it's a complete video game is a thing.
It is a
And
thing.
well, it's a complete video game a couple times over at this point.
Yeah, like the content of the game has tripled over the course of their expansion launches. Yeah, that's all I want, really. It's just complete video games at this point. I don't even really care about innovation so much anymore. I don't care if stuff is a sequel even. I just want complete video games that are not remakes. This is my bar. Finish a game, release it finished, and don't make it a remake. I don't I didn't think that bar would be too high.
It is.
But that's just too much to ask. Like, I don't even care if it's like not my preferred genre anymore. Just give me a complete video game that isn't a remake. That is where the bar's at right now. I am digging a hole for you. All you got to do is walk over it. As a customer, you will get my money if you accomplish those two things. The bar is buried. Just walk. Please. Please, game companies.
Instead, they'll make a new Borderlands that's even more cringe than the last one.
Yeah, somehow that won't be finished. Will be totally live service, and also will have somehow be a remake of Borderlands 2. That'll be even worse than the original.
In that case, we should probably start wrapping up then, because we got nothing.
Yep. All right, folks. Don't really have an email topic of the week for you, but Serathis, I know you're poking at ZZZ, so if you play the new game mode, you can send us an email about it. And I think I saw you post about it in one of the threads on the Discord. And yeah, y'all got anything else, or I'm sending us out.
No, I don't have anything.
All right.
No, don't have anything groundbreaking to say.
All right. We will see you next week. Sayonara. Bye bye.